Where last we left off, the Left Stars had discussed Mouse's encounter with Arcana and spoke of the many things happening back home as you continued your work in the Savannah Island. Mouse reached out again, asking Arcana to leave Spiridend and talked to him through a vision of stars. Um, Later reached out to her friend Olive, who seemed to be a little bit more withdrawn in that moment. You all proceeded towards the mountain that contained the glacial changeling, navigating a variety of treacherous waters and climbing, refusing to spend any spell slots whatsoever to expedite getting this stone tablet from above. And eventually, I think Drada had nat 20'd a perception check to see, perception or investigation check to have seen a glacial cave in the distance, and you sort of persuasioned your way inside of it with another nat 20, if I believe. And as you're in the belly of the beast of this cave, that you know the ice is sort of a living creature of sorts. It guided you through its different cavernous corridors, through sort of erecting walls and sort of breaking down barriers. But as you were investigating its insides, you happened upon a creature. So we'll start before we roll initiative. I had loosely been dragging you guys around.
Yeah, we lost you.
Oh, sorry. Yep. I know exactly what causes that, and I always forget. Before we roll initiative, I was loosely dragging you through this cave until this moment, but I don't want to command your character to be in this exact position. So the guidance I want to give is that you can position yourself anywhere roughly in this space. Clax is sort of locked to the top two boxes of that, though, in this scenario.
I feel like for Aesop, since we were walking forward and I was speaking, I assumed I was more in the front. Even though I don't have the health for it, I was in the front. So that's a good spot for me.
You think your mom would have just been walking beside you, or?
Sure.
Okay.
I said I don't think we can actually move our own characters.
Oh, sorry, I unpaused.
Yeah, I'd probably be up somewhere around here.
What had we decided in regards to light? Was it just Clax's sword, or did we all have our flashlights out? Or
light has been cast on Murda's sword, as well as Clax's radiant axe. I think that is the only source of light at the moment. Those two are the only sources of light. Oh, and you have your flashlight in your hand as well, currently.
Which direction we were coming from? Were we coming from the upright?
No, you were coming from below. It sort of... oops. Let me loosely... This arrow is sort of back the way you came.
Probably near the front.
Okay. Well, if you could all roll initiative, then we will get this started.
I do think Gift of Alacrity should be up on Drada.
It should.
Yes, correct.
Before we entered the cave.
Sorry. Where did... Oh, there.
This creature rolled a natural 1. But it still has a surprise round, because that is just how it goes sometimes.
I thought I clicked it, but I don't see a number. Did I not?
I do not see anything anywhere for you.
There we go.
Okay, so Drada has +6 to that, so let me... I think I can edit that once combat starts. Oh, nope, I just deleted Drada's again.
Wow.
I can never figure. No,
Yeah, I'll
okay.
take 22. Sure.
No, we're gonna figure this out. It says
Just
it
keep
says
re-rolling until we get to the right
until you
place.
get 18. Okay. Well, we'll figure this out during other people's turns. So give me a moment to do that here in a second. But it had a surprise round, and so you guys see, as sort of Clax, you turn your axe against the icy wall. There's a growth, sort of like pale white growth, that almost looks sort of like a snow-covered, little snow-covered ledge or something within this area, and you see as it suddenly starts to move and turn that it was actually like this fleshy eyeball, and as you sort of have half a second to react, there is a series of tentacles that are slashing out at you. I think its first attack technically has advantage in this situation.
I'd say so.
Does a 15 hit you?
Does not.
You react quickly enough with the light shining straight in its face and dodge to the side as the first tentacle whizzes past.
Yeah, that will hit.
21. Okay. You take 13 piercing damage and you are restrained.
Wow. That hurt.
And it is going to... so one of its tentacles, you sort of haven't really gotten the scope of this creature yet, but one of its tentacles is sort of starting to wrap around you, and you feel these like puckers like start to grasp into your scales as it leeches onto you. It does have one more attack, so I think in this case it might actually spend it on Drada still. Drada, roll me a perception check. This is sort of like... It's supposed to get a... okay, so it's not going to get advantage on you, because in this moment, you sort of have a chance to react to Clax getting hit. Oh, but nonetheless. Drada, you are also restrained in this moment. Top of the initiative, Aesop, you look and you see your friends held by these two tentacles sort of being risen 5 feet in the air. The ceiling here in this room is about 20 to 25 feet high.
Okay.
And the creature itself is rather large. You, at the top of your turn, as you're sort of like taking a look around, if you could roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Great for me, but I might not make it.
You do succeed.
Oh.
As you sort of gaze into this eye that is sort of staring out at you all, you feel just sort of like a psychic scream erupting in your mind, but you're able to shake it off and are immune to the effect.
Okay. Well, I could do something like that back, which is what I was going to do in the beginning. So this is just flavor. I'm going to, as this is my one and only innate casting for Dissonant Whispers, and I'm going to do that at first level, at the creature. Has to make a successful save. But what save? Oh, wisdom save though.
Could you click it?
Yeah. Oh, it's really good damage.
So I'm going to roll this, see how it does. So it fails the save, but it is immune to psychic damage.
Well, now we know.
However, the remainder of the effect still, it has no way to escape that. So on a failed save, Must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from you. Let's see how that sort of shakes out. I'm just I'm measuring to see what away from you means in this case, because it's sort of like a little bit boxed in at the moment.
Right. That was a good roll of damage too, but we'll save it. We'll save it for another time. That's okay.
Everybody roll me a... Well, no, I'm not going to give a... I'm going to reveal something with this because you didn't get the damage in. You notice that it tries to squirm away. Now, initially, it sort of looked like it was affixed to the wall, but it starts to crawl out, and you see this sort of like spinal cord running into the ice wall. And it can't actually move that far away without detaching itself, but it also seems really slow in that way. It also seems to be blocked by itself, and it's in this moment that you see that there are a variety of like clusters of like veins behind the walls that are blocking its passage. That it seems to be connected to it. So it only moves 10 feet in this instance as it tries to get away from you.
Are the veins coming off the creature, or is it part of the ice cave itself?
I would let somebody else sort of discern that as part of their turn if they want to.
Got it.
But you've already used your action.
Yeah, I did. So can I feel that if the creature didn't take damage really from the psychic ability? Will I be able to discern that at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll yell out, psychic damage doesn't hurt it. And I will, for my bonus action, send out a bardic inspiration to Klax, seeing as they're still restrained. So you get a D8.
Thank you.
I cannot cannot figure out how to change Drada's initiative. Okay, that's the right position. We're keeping it. It's supposed to be 18. That's fine.
And I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm a good distance away from everyone else, so I'm good.
Okay. Drada, it is your turn. If you could open up with a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, great.
A 13 is unfortunately not a 14. As you sort of gaze into it, you are sort of shook by just how sort of disturbing and horrifying it is, and you are frightened, which is disadvantage while it's within your line of sight.
Cool. So Drada's wigging the fuck out. Drada was fully planning on just trying to shoot it anyways, but that no longer seems to be the case. He's also a lanky little boy, so I think would try to, given that he's frightened, try to like wiggle his way out of the grasp, and just try to get some distance.
Okay, that would be a athletics or acrobatics saving throw. This is your action, just so you're aware.
Yeah. And saving.
Sorry, athletics or acrobatics check. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
That is plenty. Drada, you sort of make yourself as thin as possible and sort of slip through before the puckers can sort of fully grasp you.
Great.
I'm going to move you briefly because you technically would have gotten dragged with it when it moved away, but you're fine. You're fine where you are.
And yeah, given looking at the words of the frightening condition.
Yeah, you can't willingly move close to it, and you have disadvantage while you can see it.
Great. I think he's gonna boogie out of line of sight, at least of this eyeball. Who knows? There's probably veins here. We'll worry about that later. But I think bonus action would cast Hunter's Mark with the mindset of like, I need to know where you are.
That makes sense.
Because I don't want to be near you right now.
Yeah. Okay. Hunter's Mark on that. At the end of your turn, you can re-roll the Wisdom save.
Let's do it.
Unfortunately, that is not enough. But you find some security in your position at the very least. And it is Murda's turn, who sort of... Oh, first she has to make her own wisdom saving throw, I should say. She succeeds. She sort of... She looks to you, Aesop, for guidance in this moment, at the very least. She said, and one of the things you see is she's holding her sword and says, "So we're not supposed to use fire?"
That would probably be ideal. It seems trapped in the spot it's in, so let's take advantage of it.
She sighs in a way that seems like she's being held back a little bit. But she knows that it's probably the right call. She is first going to... well, hold on. Does she have a charge? She does not have a charge. She has 40 feet of movement. She is going to get in there. And just to swing at the thing. She's going to take 2 swipes with her sword. Her sword, which sort of like has a soft red glow to it, as she sort of swings it, is able to carve a little bit into the creature as it sort of wails in pain, taking the full amount of damage. And then as a bonus action, she sort of tries to cut at the tentacle that is holding Clax down. Functionally, she can use a bonus action to help you. And you get a plus 1d6 to whatever roll you're being helped with.
She's helping me get free.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
If you choose to spend your action doing that, which you probably would need to because you're not in range to attack it. That is her turn, and now it is your turn. Oops.
All right.
But I do need you to make a wisdom saving throw first.
Sure thing. Ooh, nope.
Oh.
I'm not even gonna bother because I don't think Bardic Inspiration will get me there.
Correct.
So I am frightened, huh?
Yeah, the most you would get is a 9 with a d8.
All right.
So she's giving you she'll give you a d6 too. It's well, a natural one. I think it's a failure regardless. You could technically roll the dice and get above a DC 14, but
nah. The odds rolling a 6 and an 8 are slim to none.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead though and use my action to try and break free from the grapple.
okay. That would be athletics for you. And this would be with advantage because she's helping. Oh, you don't need it.
I am scared shitless, apparently.
How does that look as you're trying to get away from this tentacle?
So normally Calm Clax, he has his axe out. You just see his eyes get really big and wide and just thrashes about like a madman, just literally doing everything he can. Almost probably knocks over Murda as he's trying to get away, but manages to pretty much break free of it, and then can't move any closer, right? I think I'm gonna...
Currently, no.
Yep. I'm going to move. I'll move back to about here. I don't have to move as my furthest distance possible, right?
You don't have to move away at all. You just can't move closer to it.
But I think I would. Yeah. being that scared, rolling in that one, I'm playing up. I definitely am going to retreat until I see Aesop and realize I shouldn't be running past Aesop. So I kind of stand my ground at that point. And then what I will do, though, then... I do have disadvantage for any attacks against it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And I can't hold an action because I just used my action. Yeah, I think right now with that move, playing it up, yeah, that's where I'm going to be.
Okay. At the end of your turn, make another wisdom save to try to get out of it. So this one, yeah, you still have Bardic Inspiration, but you can't get out of that. So, unfortunately, you stand your ground knowing that you have to stand in front of Aesop, but nonetheless, you're not having a good day so far. Flint, if you could have a wisdom saving throw for me, that would be great.
Great.
There you go.
All right. Cool. Then I think I'm gonna try to move. Who am I trying to move to? 5, 10, 15, 20, like here-ish, 25. And I'm going to really hope this thing doesn't have area effect spells. But I'm going to use a spell slot to summon my cannon as the... Seeing how hard it hit Clax and Drata, yeah, I think I'm going to do it as a protector.
Okay.
And
small or tiny? If not that it always matters.
Tiny.
Okay.
And I will... how do I do this? Features. This one. Alright, I think that can get the 4 of us 7 temp hit points.
Okay.
And I believe that's my action and bonus action. And I'll just kind of look at Aesop and be like, can you ask this thing if fire's okay?
I'm gonna assume it's not. Everywhere you see ice is it.
I wouldn't hit the eye. But that's my turn.
Mouse, I believe you are in its way. Yes, you are still within its 30 feet range. If you could make me a wisdom save.
With advantage because I'm brave?
Sure, if it's the frightened condition, yes. That's fair.
Oh, come on,
I
Miss
know,
Brave.
who knew?
So brave.
Honestly, wow, so brave.
You're basically the bravest. You're fine.
Hey. Wait, we're trying to hurt this thing, right?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna cast Moonbeam.
Okay.
And it doesn't do anything on its turn, but when it starts its turn in the space, it has to make a save and takes damage. And then I'm also going to pull out my star map, like set my staff down as it kind of unfurls, and enter my archer form.
Okay.
And make an attack.
That attack does indeed hit.
And then I am going to back up.
So, sort of an interesting thing that I'm thinking about is that you are in the belly of a creature's beast, and the creature is referred to as a glacial changeling, and Moonbeam would affect shape changers. So it's like, normally this is like just a sort of like icy cave, but in this instance you're casting something that is sort of anti-shape changer inside of its belly. However,
Maybe
it
fire
is
was fine, guys.
it is not in a state where it can necessarily like uh, change its shape. However, it does sort of as your moonbeam slams into the creature. You feel that there's sort of a searing, shaking, cracking ice beneath it as well. But we'll deal with that later. It is the creature's turn. And it is going to... First, it's going to try to grapple with our good friend Murda. I'm not going to tell you Murda's AC, so if you ever want to Silvery Barb something, just interrupt me. But she does...
I'm going to assume a 27 hits.
Yeah, you that's safe to assume.
Yeah.
But if you see something that you're like, is that... And you're like, it's 16, should I do it, should I not? Then just like, tell me if you want to Silvery Barbs it.
Okay.
But she does take that damage and is grappled. You see as it sort of like thrashes her around a little bit, it starts to inch forward. Actually, it has to go around this sort of space. I sort of previously mentioned that it's like spinal column detached, and then now you're starting to see it like almost float within the space, still attached to the wall, but kind of sticking out of it, perpendicular, as it now comes out to reach for you all.
You all?
Let's see who it's going to be.
The dreaded question. Us?
This is just my random numbers. That is Flint and Aesop. The first attack against Flint. A 16 misses, I think.
That misses.
It's just like slaps against your armor, but it doesn't actually connect in a meaningful way. And against Aesop.
I will woe against Aesop.
Hey, thank you.
I didn't probably need to.
No, you
Yeah,
did. I would have
yeah.
still hit.
Oh, okay. Let me roll my d4 then.
Yeah, well, it still could hit. So. Okay. You did it.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading things, but yes. The starlight sort of shines in its eyes and distracts it momentarily. So it still has Murda grappled in this instance, but it ends its... Oh, wait, and it would have taken some moonbeam damage. So I'm going to have made that con save for it. It failed. For big 13. Okay. Top of the initiative, you all feel the icicle structures around you start to shake, sort of as that moonbeam is slamming down into the ground. You start to see cracks forming in the ice that sort of crack up to the ceiling as several icicles drop down. Let's see where they fall. I have a sort of like secret grid set up for where these fall. We are going to have... Wait. Where's my icicle button?
I guess it just means no
Okay.
icicles fall on us.
I don't think
Oh,
it,
no.
yeah, I don't think it works that way.
You know, the changeling's just like, you know, having a great time. It's just like, it's a tickle.
Okay, I didn't assign an action to this, so it's not showing up on the bar. Okay. It has been fixed. Icicles are dropping. One of them's here, which is 9 on my grid, and the other is 10 on my grid. So that means Flint and Aesop are both caught, each within 1 icicle. If you could roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Come on, come on.
Noticing the problem, I will drop Moonbeam.
Aesop, you take 3 cold damage, and Flint, you are able to dodge out of the way.
The number 3?
Yes, just 3.
So I take no damage?
You take no damage. Yes. It's sort of like, you are occupying a 5-foot square, but you are tiny, so it's sort of like it hits you to your side as you're able to get out of the way. But now it is your turn, Aesop.
Okay. I am going to cast. I'm going to cast Fairy Fire on it. God, I hope this works. It is concentration as well, so I'm going to put that in chat.
Okay.
Oh, there's a little. I'm going to try to not get murder in it, so I'm going to put it there.
Okay. Oh, I forgot
DC
to...
15.
It occurs to me that the Moonbeam would have hit the Icy Veins as well. I'll describe that in a second. But, okay. So you're hitting the creature and one of the Icy Veins.
Sure. With Fairy Fire.
The creature succeeds, but you do see like a light glow come from behind the ice in the wall next to it, sort of illuminating that there's living matter back there.
Oh.
I'll say with that, because you were curious about it before, and now that it's sort of a little bit better lit, you see that all the veins in this seem to be connecting to the creature.
Oh.
Like it's sort of like it's created a nervous system throughout this cave as a parasite of the glacial changeling.
Right. So I'll repeat that information. These veins seem to be blocking vital parts to this creature. Some of us might want to attack those. And I'll kind of point specifically to mouse to the Moonbeam hitting one of them. And then I'm going to get away from this cluster that we're in. We haven't done a battle in a hot second. How many? 30. Alright. Let's see. Ruler. How far away can I go? Actually... do I want to... I'm going to move 15 feet behind me. And that will be my turn.
Okay. It gets an attack of opportunity. It has a 20-foot reach with its tentacles.
Okay, it's good to know.
So before you even leave that space, let's see. 16 hit you, I assume.
Yes. Do I want to silvery barbs that, even though I have such a low AC? We're gonna take it.
Okay.
I'm taking it.
I think technically you get 5 feet away, so you go 5 feet down before this occurs. But sort of like as Aesop's turning to back up a bit, the tentacle that had swiped at him earlier sort of turns around for a second swing, and you all see Aesop raised 5 feet in the air by it.
Am I restrained?
You are restrained, yes.
Hot stuff. That was 17.
Drada, it is your turn. At the end of your turn, you'll be allowed to re-roll for free, but you are, if you decide, also allowed to use your action to sort of try to steal yourself.
No, I don't think Drada's easily rattled. So now that he's very rattled, I think he's just there. I think it's very funny and contributes to the choice not to try to fix it. Of Drada's like, okay, great, freaking the fuck out. He's casting Hunter's Mark, which is normally just quiet obscenities, but this as he's frightened, it's just like fuck, 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 fuck. Not stealthy at all. Just being like, I need to get to the darkness where no one can find me and I will be safe. And all of the people carrying bright objects just keep coming closer to him. And I think it's very funny. So he's gonna go a little further. That's to the point where he is enshrouded in darkness and feeling, marginally maybe more comfortable. And we'll just take some shots at this giant floating eyeball, disadvantage though they say maybe.
Okay. I think you have 3 attacks still.
Yes.
While Drena does that, Fairy Fire is concentration. So what do I need to roll since I got hit?
Yeah, roll a Constitution saving throw.
Thank you. I see.
Yep, you're fine. That attack hits. So if you want to add a
Great.
d6 to it.
I do, and also because Murda is right there,
Yes,
Is there
sneak
sneak
attack.
attack?
Yes.
so
She
another
is an
2d6.
ally.
Happy Pride, she's an ally.
Hey,
So that in there.
pretty
And then 2
good
more.
for a frightened person. With disadvantage. A 15 does not hit.
Okay.
It barely does not hit, I will give you.
Okay.
A 21 does hit. So one
Great,
more
and
d6.
final 11. So yeah, just fully hear this lanky boy, probably still wet from tentacles, just like fuck, 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 as he runs into the darkness, and arrows just fly out.
Okay. At the end of your turn, because it is within your line of sight, you have to do a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage.
Oh, great. Well, it's not happening, so.
Okay, so unfortunately, Drada is still freaking out. Murda's turn is up, and she's like, as a player, I don't know what makes sense for her. I think in this moment, her instinct is to sort of swipe at it as best as she can. She is trying to keep it from getting, like, focusing too much of its energy on the rest of the team, so she's trying to draw attention away from it by attacking it directly, albeit with disadvantage. I think I rolled with advantage on accident. So that's actually a miss in theory. That is definitely a miss, unfortunately. She also pulls out a dagger to sort of take one more desperate stab at it. And that one does hit, as she gets a nice sort of like dagger stuck into the sort of like fleshy, large, bulbous snow eye of sorts. And that is her turn.
All right. Black's on his turn. It's just at the end we're taking action, you said, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The test. I have to take it at the end of my turn unless I want to spend an action to take the wisdom.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I think I will not do that, but I will. Can't really tell distances. Give me 1 second. Probably should have been prepping this ahead of time, so my apologies. I don't know why I just drew that. There we go. Since it's been a while, I will do my best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do enervating breath.
Okay.
15-foot cone. Hopefully catch the big guy, and if it's in range, the piece next to it that Ace have yelled out about. So let me go ahead and throw that in chat. Oh, hold on. First of all, there's the cone. Ah, there we go. Nope, I'm only going to get the big guy. But there we go.
Okay. Which is fine. The other thing doesn't have attacks, I will just sort of say. Like, so,
Okay.
Okay. So let's give this guy a good old con save. It fails.
All right. It is now incapacitated.
Until when? I'm just trying to speed read
Start
this.
of my next turn.
Okay. You sort of. What does your repulsing breath sort of look like again?
The enervating breath.
Enervating
This
breath.
was the one that, if I remember correctly, was kind of just like a black fog that kind of comes out, kind of a mist. I think I used it in that tavern at one point.
That's right.
And
Yes.
just kind of fills up the air and kind of chokes around the creature.
You start just, I would say, in this instance, you see like this thing doesn't have like eyelids so much as it has like a circular iris that closes like a camera lens, as it sort of is trying to shake free of the effect, effectively paralyzing it or incapacitating it.
Okay, and then that's it for right now. And then I will, at the end of my turn, take that wisdom save.
I'll actually give it to you because its eyes closed. I would say you're outside of its line of sight.
Okay, so just straight roll.
A straight roll, yeah. Success. You shake it off.
I'm back in it, guys. Sorry about that.
Flint, you're up. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out how to deselect things because I think I've now selected. Yeah. Oh well. So what I want to do is probably move my cannon up to. How do I mark an area? Well, up to somewhere about here, so that I can attempt to get Myrtle in this, or Murda. But I don't know how to unselect. The problem is I have both me and it selected right now.
Select the ruler or some other tool, and then go back to token controls.
Yeah, I feel like I still.
I just did this
Okay,
too.
all right.
Click the target and click it.
Yeah, I got it. All right. So I'm gonna put. Oop. Making this complicated. I'm gonna put that about there. Move. Well, let me ask this question: these veins, are they so integrated into the wall that I couldn't hit? Do I feel like I could hit them without hitting the glacial creature, or are they just?
If you were a surgeon.
So I was a surgeon. Okay.
Yeah.
Doing it anyways. That feels like what Flint would do. Flint's gonna move to like here ish. I'm gonna activate my turret to give us all 10 hit points. I think that hits all three of us. That's up here. So back to 7 if you've taken any damage. And then Flint's gonna grab his blasting rod with like both hands and try and point it and attempt to see if I can get a thunder wave that hits all 3 of these things. Which I'm trying to remember, how do I do the cast the spell? Yeah, place a measuring thing. I think I can do like this.
Yeah, that'll hit all 3.
Cool. Then they have a Constitution DC 15 saving throw or take 10 damage.
Okay. A loud erupting clap. Sorry, go ahead.
I also add a D8 to that because
you're blasting around. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. These guys don't get saves. A loud erupting burst echoes throughout this place. I will actually do a save for the cave, who also gets hurt by this.
Sorry, Cave.
And the creature succeeds on the saving throw and is not pushed back, but nonetheless sort of reels from the effect. Actually, does being incapacitated give it any
1 second, I'm on the
disadvantages?
page.
I wouldn't guess on a
Incapacitated-
No, it's no actions or reactions. It can still save.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a Constitution saving throw. It's not like it's a Dex or anything. So it takes half damage and is not pushed back.
And then you also feel the ice cracking around these sort of like vein structures as well.
But that's my turn.
Okay. Mouse, it is your turn.
Yeah.
Are you still? I know you deleted the moonbeam, but are you still concentrating on it, or?
No, I dropped the moonbeam after I realized we were hurting the cave we were currently in.
Okay.
So yeah, after Aesop's suggestion, I'm gonna attack this guy, the vein, with a guiding bolt.
Okay. I think you have advantage on this because it's fairy fired at the moment. That is definitely a hit. It still seems to be there at this point, having taken several blows and sort of like the thunder from Flint's cannon as well, and all those sorts of effects that have hit it. You start to see it shuddering, like it sort of has a you're watching like blood pulse through it at irregular rates, and it seems to be weakening.
I don't know if this is good or bad. I'm gonna follow it up with my archer form.
Okay. Technically, you have advantage from your. You have advantage from multiple sources. But that does not hit, sadly.
Didn't think it did. And I'm just gonna keep scooting away.
Okay.
And then I see Drada and I step forward again so that Drada can be in darkness.
I hiss at you.
On this creature's turn, it's still sort of there shuddering under the effect of the enervating breath. Clax and Flint... Clax... I'll say everybody who's not frightened, who is trying to like look at it in this moment, give me a perception check. Aesop, well, you're next in initiative, so it kind of makes sense that you would be able to shout this out, but you see, even as it is incapacitated, that the blood pouring into it from the vein structures around it seems to be energizing it as a sort. The cave, as the cave is sort of like being drained of its energy to functionally give this creature a second life bar. But you sort of see that these veins are sort of pumping their energy into the creature. It's a short version.
Okay. I'll shut that out.
Before you shut it out, technically there was a thunder wave, and we're gonna have a few icicles drop on people.
Hey, hopefully it's not another 10.
8 and 16.
Excuse me.
And 8 is here on top of the vein structures. And a 16 is behind Drada. So I'm not even going to lay it down. So it's like deeper back behind you. It's barely like I'll put it down anyway just for visual sense. 16 was right here, which is not hitting Drada. But it is Aesop's turn.
Okay.
You're currently still restrained.
Yes. I was hoping, DM, please let me know otherwise. If I use Misty Step, I checked, and all I need is the verbal component to do the spell that I could just easily escape. Okay.
Correct.
I have 1 innate Misty Step, so I'll do that. And I'm gonna go. Ooh, I have been debating on where to go. And I think I'm gonna go here. So let me do. Shoot! Get out of there. We're gonna go right here. That's 28 feet for me. The tentacles were 15 feet reach, right?
20 feet.
Hot. Okay.
It doesn't have reactions right now, though, because it's incapacitated, so...
Okay. Well, great, because this is at 25. Or, well, technically...
Yeah, technically, if it had a reaction, it could still... But it doesn't right now, so...
So I'm going to just move 1 step that way as my movement. And for my action, let me just see the feats real quick. Let me measure this out. Oh yeah. I can do a cantrip for an action if I used a bonus action spell, correct?
Yes.
Type of thing? Cool. So for my action, I will use Sacred Flame, which is a radiant damage on the vein that's been damaged already.
Okay. They don't get saving throws, so...
9
it just
damage.
takes it. Yeah. Still is up, but it is very... Seems like it's about to collapse into a heap of flesh.
Okay. That was my turn.
Okay. Drada, you are up, just outside the light.
Ruby, question. Since I know that this is all one parasitic being. Would Hunter's Mark extend to the veins as well? And that it is just one entity?
I'm gonna say no, because otherwise, the thunderclap should only hit one of them, or if by AoE existing, being able to hit multiple things, it sort of implies that
Gotcha.
they're different things.
No worries. I don't think this turn is all that exciting regardless. I think it's knowing that it seems like these veins seem to be replenishing its health bar, and I want this thing gone. I'll bonus action switch my Hunter's Mark to the nearest set of veins, the one that Aesop's right next to.
Okay.
Is that the one that's taken a lot of damage, or is
No,
that
this one has taken damage. Taken all the damage so far.
Bonus action, switch my Hunter's Mark, and take 2 shots on those veins.
Okay, the one that's next to Aesop still.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. These are still at disadvantage because the creature is within your line of sight and you're still frightened of it.
Yes.
But advantage because it still has Fairy Fire on it.
And I'm also in darkness.
Well, you're okay.
And also, aren't its eyes closed?
Oh, I'm out. I'm out of this. I don't know.
Okay. Let me actually reread this. The ability does not really specify the eye being closed. The eye being closed is sort of flavor for the enervating breath that Clax did. Being in darkness, you're attacking an object right now, not so much a creature. So you're not really hidden from an object.
Fair.
But these things have, well, unfortunately 13 is still not a hit. However, they don't really have that high of AC.
Cool. I don't know why these D6s are happening. But that's an exciting crit.
Well, disadvantage.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, that
Pretty
hits.
good.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, was that sneak attack? Is that what that is?
It is not including sneak attack. No, it's including. It's just roll 2 more d6 for sneak attack. You still get that.
Right. Or the 3 because I switched.
Yeah. And then, yeah, exactly. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. We're
And
gonna
then I will.
19 damage to that vein cluster next to Aesop.
Yes. And then I'm gonna move because I don't want this thing looking at me much more. As close into the cave wall as I can to get it out of my. I don't want really. And will then wisdom save.
Yes, it's occurring to me that I sort of like told Clax one set of rules that gave him not disadvantage on something, and I'm doing the opposite for you. So, so I'm going to take that as if it was a crit earlier, or as if the first attack was a hit. So I'm going to do 6 more damage to it. But yes, if you could
Okay.
roll me a wisdom save. Okay, Drada, you are able to shake it off. I think firmly in the comfort of enough darkness that you steel yourself.
I love this for myself.
It's Myrta's turn, and she just says, "It would be really nice if I could use my fire right now." She's going to try to break free this time, however. She unfortunately fails. Sort of like is squirming there inside of the tentacle, and you know, she looks fine. She doesn't look that injured, but she looks more frustrated than anything. Somebody, if you want to, roll me a persuasion check to get her to hold back. Because she's in a fuck it moment where she wants to just go all out.
I ain't stopping her.
I will. I said it initially, so
Okay.
I feel like
Persuasion DC 15.
All right.
Okay.
Woo! Woo!
Aesop doesn't even say anything. It's just sort of like
I give that look.
She's like, don't do it. She like is holding onto her sword really tight. But uses her better judgment to hold back for now. Clax, it is your turn.
All right, so the start of my turn, it is no longer incapacitated, and you said it has a 20-foot reach.
Correct. So that means it. So yeah, it has its reaction back in that case.
Okay. Sorry. All right, then I think what I'll do is just Flint's in a spot I don't want him to be in, but I
Is
think
Clark still frightened at this point, or did you save?
no, I'm
Clax
good now.
saved.
Yeah.
Everybody's saved at this point.
Okay.
Murda's grappled, and that's the only condition at the moment.
Oops.
If I were a better DM, I would mark these things, but I'm lazy.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to if I was here. I wouldn't be able to reach. Oh yeah, I should be able to reach.
Yeah, you're
both.
fine. Yeah,
right.
corner to corner is fine.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to run over there. I'm going to first strike at this one with my first attack.
Okay. This is fairy fired, so it's with advantage. Or
Excellent.
wait, did you cast a new? No, it's still fairy fired. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yes, I have not. I've been looking at concentration. I'll let you know.
All right. 24. I'll roll just in case
Just
I
in
get
case. Yeah.
that. No. Okay.
7 damage is enough, though. As you sort of slice into it, you see the veins kind of like go limp and then fall into sort of like spaghetti on the floor in front of the icicles. The creature itself sort of like wails in pain, not having taken extra damage, but sort of having felt that sort of on its periphery.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move 5 more feet, and I'm going to attack this one.
Okay.
This one does not have fairy fire, correct?
Correct.
I think that might miss, so I'm going to go ahead and burn the bardic inspiration.
Okay.
Oh, that's a D10. Let's try a D8.
At this point, nothing is fairy fired, so you don't have to maintain concentration on that.
All right, yeah, so 23
23 definitely hits.
for 11 slashing.
Okay.
And then I will go ahead and go ahead and burn second wind, or not second wind, action surge. Sorry.
Okay.
On that, maybe.
How do I get rid of the template?
I got it. Sorry.
Thank you.
There we go. So I will go ahead and take an attack again. 19 for 10.
That does hit.
And it's still up, I imagine, at this
Yes,
point.
it still seems to be up.
All right, I will go ahead and attack it again.
That also hits. Yep. Four
yep,
solid hits on that turn.
Okay. And then, since that doesn't have any movement, but I just want to kind of... I still have 10 feet of movement. I'll move 5 feet back towards... Actually, no, I'll move up close, try and regain my... Trying to act like a stud again, since I was a frightened little bitch at the beginning.
Flint, it is your turn.
Yeah, I don't think there's any good way to try to get all three of us in my cannon, and I think I've seen Murda take more damage, so I'm just gonna hit Murda and myself and just leave it where it is. Currently it's 7s every round.
7 down, yep.
And we really think we shouldn't use fire? Murda's not using fire, but she wants to. So I feel like I should, just to see. Yeah, I'm going to take a couple of steps backwards over here, and I'm just going to firebolt it and see how angry the cave gets.
Firebolt the creature? Or...
Yeah, the main creature.
Okay.
Or not.
Yep, that does not seem to hit.
That's my turn.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna follow Flint's lead and go back to attacking the creature.
Okay.
Guiding bolt and then archer form.
Let's do it. The guiding bolt definitely hits, which will give you advantage on the archer form.
I need to start doing those in the other direction, but
it does hit as a result of that, so that's something at least. For a solid 19 damage. So it's sort of like, I think it's like you shoot a glowing bolt that is sort of like a magnet for the other glowing bolt to sort of come in and have a ripple effect on it. And it's seems to be in pain, but it's also sort of like this monstrosity. You don't really understand how it feels in this moment. Are you going to move at all?
nope. I know Drada's hiding somewhere behind me, and I don't want to come closer to it, so no.
Okay. This creature is going to scoot over just a little bit. Functionally just like floating over your cannon at the moment. Still connected to the wall as it does this, but it is going to make one tentacle attack against each of the three of you as it tries to grab all three of you. So this is first against we're gonna do just because I always go left to right, we're gonna do right to left this time, so against Clax.
Okay.
As that does definitely not hit.
And as a reaction, I'm going to which one do I want? Sorry, give me 1 second here.
The riposte, I believe, is what you're looking at.
No, I am actually going to try, and I'm going to hit him with the... Sorry, my dog's bumped my elbow because it's time for his medicine, but I'm going to try and blind him? I'm just trying to find what the DC. I'll just put it in here, and then we'll look see. DC 15. So use the infused reaction.
Ah, I forgot about that.
Try and blind him, because that'll be better for the team rather than me just doing damage. Oh, okay. It was
Good
worth
call
a
though.
shot.
I forgot that you had that, but yes, good.
I thought about using it the first one, but I was like, I got the jump on me. I'll pretend I wasn't ready. Then in hindsight, I really should have used it.
Nonetheless, it's sort of like, I think it's not that it doesn't work, but it's just like it had already turned away its attention towards Flint as you shine this light in its eyes. Its eye, I should say. So this one against Flint, 26, I imagine,
tried Flint.
hits.
Yeah, I don't even think a shield will fix that.
You are now restrained, and then one against
Oh,
Aesop.
1 damage? Holy moly.
26 against Aesop. You're muted, but
Sorry, I have to try to silvery barb that.
okay.
I have 1 innate, so I'm going to use that.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll another d20, and this is plus 9.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Thank God.
uh,
My DC's a 12.
you slap it away with a bit of song or music.
I imagine that I hold my book out and a hand just comes out and just punches it away.
And then you get to give somebody advantage on their next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
Yes. Can I? Oh, I can choose myself. You know what? Drada, you're still frightened, right?
You can't see Drada. It says a creature you can see.
You can't see
Andrada's-
me, I'm not.
And Drada is also not frightened, so.
Okay. So you know what? I will. I'll throw advantage on my mom
Okay.
for her to try to get out. Yep.
Okay. Having sustained no area of effect or damage that angers it at this moment, the cave does nothing. Aesop, it's your turn.
Great. I will. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself at 2nd level.
Not a bad call, considering.
Nope, not at all. There we go. I'm rolling really well. Say that now. Knock on wood. So that's 17 for me. Oh, I could do that here. Oh, there we go. So, oh wow. You know what? I'm just gonna. Yep. So we're back to 34. Amazing. And for my bonus action, I'm just gonna throw another Sacred Flame on the vein in front of me.
You can't. Cure Wounds is an action, and Sacred
You're
Flame
right.
is also an action.
You're right. Okay, so for
You can Bardic Inspiration, I think, might be your only option right now.
correct. So I will do that and give that to, and I have to see them, so I'll give it to Flint, who is also restrained.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
Very good. Drada, it is your turn. Now, you are invisible in this sort of darkness situation. So you would... I think you would have advantage on your attacks unless you sort of like... But you would still need to sort of... We've never really been in this situation since we started playing, because it doesn't happen super often. You're invisible to it, but it's sort of still like... Ideally, you would still take the hide action for sound-based stuff, but in this instance, I'm going to say that it's sort of focused on everything that's happening immediately around it, so you're fine.
I appreciate you. 3 shots may be at the vein closest to Asen.
Okay. I will say, like, the veins, again, aren't aware, so these are straight rolls, not advantage rolls, but...
Yeah.
That hits, if you want to roll Hunter's Mark.
Great, and I'll throw our sneak in there because Aesop's next to it.
Yes, of course. I forget about that, but you're totally right.
I only say it because I would forget about it if I didn't. Ooh,
Ooh, sad
what
times.
great d6. And 2 more shots.
Ooh.
Hey,
Hunter's mark for that one as well. Actually, no matter what you roll, it's going to die. Because if
Great,
you do
love
2 more
that.
damage to it, this one, you sort of sink 2 of your 3 shots into it, and it's sort of like, you watch as the blood sort of stops flowing and just starts to it starts to become decolored as the blood within the veins starts to sink down.
That's cute. That's gross. Honestly, that's bad as hell. And since I did not end up using a bonus action, I would shift my Hunter's Mark as my bonus action back to our big eyeball friend.
Okay.
And then movement, I'm fuck away. I want to give Mouse the space she needs because she's or I still don't want to be near this thing. But yeah, we're grooving.
Okay.
Good teamwork.
It is Murda's turn. Somebody roll me persuasion again because she saw fire.
I'm over here like, hey, my fire didn't provoke any sort of anger from the cave. Go for it. I'm encouraging her.
You also didn't hit it.
It's true.
It's true. I'm still gonna roll persuasion.
Okay. She's like, fine. And she currently has, I think, she has silvery barbs advantage, if I'm correct. Okay.
Any attack saving throw ability check that she does first, that gets the advantage.
She's going to use the advantage to try to shake out of this. And succeeds. She is no longer restrained. And as she'll sort of rotate around and with her bonus, her help, or her special bonus action help, she's going to start to try to pull at Flint in case you want to break free as well. But that is her turn. Clax, you're up.
I'm gonna immediately turn and move 5 feet, strike the one next to me, the globule, whatever you want to call it.
17 does hit.
Okay, for 9 slashing. Still alive?
Still up, very barely. Literally has 1 hit point, I will say.
Damn it. Well, I don't. Sorry, give me 1 second, just see if there's anything I can. Nope. All right, I'll go ahead and strike at it again. Come on. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Alright, yeah. Big hit. Oof.
Nope.
Alright.
It's like cutting into a thicket of veins. It's just sort of breaking apart the ice and severing the veins on the inside.
Then rush forward towards it and kind of have my shield ready, see if I can't just draw its attention from other people.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
Flint.
Alright. So I'm stuck, huh? Let's start by trying to figure that out. I'm just going to try and use my action to get free.
Okay.
Which is...
So you have... it's a athletics or acrobatics, and then you have an D6 as well as a bardic D8 if you want.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, geez. Well, how high do I think I have to get on this? All right. Well, we got the D6 for sure. See if this is any good.
It occurs to me that the attack roll doesn't show it. I will tell you, it's the same DC as the Horrifying Presence, which is a 14.
14. Okay, so I'm at 11. Sure, I'll use my Bardic Inspiration. That's a D8, right?
Yes.
Ooh.
There you go.
All right. Broken free. I get this somewhere where I can... Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and move, I think, to here with my turret, and I'll move myself. Can I fit between the eye and Murda? How's
Yeah,
first?
you're fine. Murda's
Okay.
Murda's a large creature in the space that she commands, but she is a medium creature technically.
2, 3.
So people can move through her freely if they're allies.
All right. I'm gonna try and get a little distance on this thing, and then I will use the protector thing and hopefully get Murda
Yeah.
and Aesop and myself.
Is
But
it
I'm
10,
not
10
clear
feet?
if I'll get Murda.
If it's 10 feet, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Thank
is.
you.
Yeah, you're fine. It's
And that's my turn.
Appreciated.
mouse.
Okay, I'm gonna try and work on this last vein. But I'm gonna archer form first, so I
Whoa.
can give somebody else advantage. Yeah, it's funny how order works.
That was a dramatic dice on my screen.
It was.
That does not hit.
And I think I'm out of innate one, so he's using a spell slot. Oh, that's also bad. I just try like look both ways and like nobody saw that. It's fine.
I'm gonna say, do you have any sort of inspiration or woes, or I don't know if woes work on attack rolls. Does my on?
They both have to be called before the roll, and I have the -1 today instead of the +1.
And I don't know if you can use it on yourself. I could be wrong.
I think I can, but it doesn't matter either way. I'll look it up before I use it again.
Okay. Is that your turn?
That's all I got.
Okay. This creature, having you've attacked the remainder of you guys have been focusing on its body, and it's starting to shift its attention less for the things that are immediately in front of it and more where are those shots coming from. It is normally it wouldn't really be able to move into Murda space, but it's sort of like floating, as I mentioned, so it's sort of like hovering a little bit as it comes here. It is going to make a swipe at Mouse as a tentacle screams from across.
With my last woe. Oh, you don't
Wait,
have to, I won't roll the 2 6.
There's no silvery barbs left, are there?
Yeah, I'm just running low on spells, but it's
you do.
probably a good idea. No, I will silvery barbs this. I still have a reaction, so this will be my reaction.
Okay. Let's reroll this.
Yeah.
Smart.
Who are you giving your advantage to?
Can't see Drata, so I'll give it to myself. Sure.
Still hits, but it's not a crit. I'm going to re-roll the damage because the damage is sort of a mixed. Or no, we'll just take the 18 because that's the first amount of damage.
Alrighty. And just making sure, Flint, I still have the original 7 temp points just because you've like relaunched it for other people. I didn't lose those, right?
Correct.
Cool.
Oh, Mouse killed herself on accident.
Yeah, it doesn't work like Roll20 where you can just write in the minus.
Yeah.
If you right click on your token and there's like your hit points on the bottom, you can do like minus, whatever the number, 18 or whatever, and it'll calculate it with the
That
10.
is so good to know. I've been struggling with basic math this whole time.
Well, I find because if I don't do it that way, then like I have to go in and like deal with the 10 hit points and then take the remainder off my regular, and yeah.
Who else? I think these 2 other attacks Flint and Murda just broke free last turn. They did not attack this creature. The other two creatures who are aggravating it at the moment that it can see are Aesop and Klax. So we're gonna go left to right this time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Aesop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Jesus!
Oh no!
Good God.
You are restrained for 22 damage. This guy has rolled a lot of natural 20s. Klax. 15, I assume does not hit.
Nope, but he still has another attack yet. I'll go ahead and
No, this is its last. That was its last attack.
Oh, that was its last attack. All right, then I will just riposte.
Okay.
Features riposts. Boom. Okay, and then my attack. Ooh, 16.
A 16 does hit.
All right, for 12 slashing.
You slash into it, and you see that as these vein clusters have been severed, that it certainly is getting less of its sort of blood supply that it was getting before. So the damage you're dealing is sort of like now showing some wear and tear. Not that it wasn't before, but that it was sort of passively recovering some without that. So that is its turn. Again, nothing has upset the cave, so Aesop, it is your turn.
Yeah.
You're restrained.
That was a big hit.
Good thing you healed yourself.
Yeah. I'm not good with close combat. Unfortunately, even if I decide to go this way, he has a long reach with 20 feet. So, God, unfortunately, I'm stuck in a corner. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I am going to, as my bonus action. Thank God the spell came in clutch so many times. I'm gonna bonus action Misty Step out of its claws. And I'm gonna move away. This was the 28 mark. So I'm gonna move away on this spot. So we're gonna go here. Boop. And for my bonus, or for my action, I have to use a cantrip. I will try to get rid of the last vein, and I will Sacred Flame it.
Okay.
With
Roll
advantage.
damage. It doesn't make saves, just roll damage.
What was... I just want to read Silvery Barbs. Cool. I still got advantage in it because it lasts me a minute.
Okay. Big radiant damage on this ice. Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn.
Okay. Drada. You're back.
Heyo, it's me, your girl, in the dark, pop, 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 3 hand crossbows, having a time.
Who are you targeting? The creature?
The creature.
I'm going to give you advantage on the first attack, sort of like as it doesn't realize that you're there, and then it suddenly finds it's getting shot from the darkness. If you want to... Okay. It's definitely a sneak attack.
Sure is.
Not bad, not bad.
Nah.
Uh, 25 does hit as well.
But there you
go. 14 does not hit.
Cool. At which point I will continue moving deeper into this cave.
Fair enough.
That's my turn.
Berta is not grappled by it. In this case, she sees her son continuously avoid disaster. You want to roll a persuasion check again?
Yeah.
That voice in the back of her mind
Mm-hmm.
that she knows she shouldn't do it is keeping her from going all out. I think, though, the position to be able to bonus action help Mouse while still attacking. I think she knows that she's the only thing standing between it and Mouse right now, so she's going to just try to stand her ground a little bit. Make 2 attacks with her sword. One of them hits, and then with her dagger as well. That does not hit. So she's taking chunks out of this, sort of doing the best she can with the options she has at the moment. And Clax, it's your turn.
How bad is the creature looking right now?
It still is it's hard to, it doesn't have emotion. It's not showing emotion.
Okay.
It's looking, I would say, give me an insight check.
Ooh.
It is operating entirely off of survival instincts right now. You're not sure that there's any intelligence behind it. But I would say with a insight of 19 that it seems that I'll just say it's at about half, but it's not healing like it was before. So it's much more exposed than it has been.
Based on that judgment, I'm going to continue to see 5, 10. Oop, not on top of them there. 15. Try and work my way over towards that. Do I want to? Has this one been? I don't think this one's really been hit.
It got hit by the guy.
Guiding bolt.
No, with my Sacred Flame, it took
Yeah.
15, I think. Yeah.
Oh, it took 19. All right, so
13.
13. Sorry. Yeah, let's go and try and cut that off. So I'm going. Right there's 20 or 15. Can't remember what it is, but not a lot. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and strike first.
Okay.
18 should hit for
That does
12.
hit, yes.
And if it's still
Still
up,
up.
I'll go take my next attack again. 21 for 10.
Yep. Still up. These things are they're large, so it's sort of you're carving through sections of it as it sort of weakens. But
And now I'll just move back towards the creature to hopefully distract it. And that is my turn.
okay. Flint.
Oh boy. I don't remember who got hurt last round, but I don't feel like it was any of us that are close to this thing right now. I feel like it was Aesop and Mouse.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hey, something else got whacked hard.
So I will bonus action. Can't tell quite where. I think this will get 3 of us. So I will move it there, but I don't think Clax and I really need it. So I'll do there, making sure I'm like close enough to Aesop. That's the one I care about with this particular roll.
Doesn't care about you, Clax.
No, that's fine.
I don't think Clax took damage last round, so I think we both got the full. Yeah, so that's 9, which doesn't actually replace my 10. And then, I am not grappled, so I'm going to take a step backwards. And then with my action, Flint's tired of this thing and hasn't seen any negative effects from his fire yet, so he's going to Scorching Ray.
Okay.
I'll just look at it like, Really? Right in front of me?
Yep. I'll aim real careful, like.
Okay.
And I'm just hitting the eyeball. I'm not trying to hit the veins or anything, because I figure that's more separated.
It didn't occur to me last time, but like a firebolt missing would technically hit the wall of the cave
Yep.
somewhere.
I wasn't going to say anything.
And so I'm just going
Very
to,
nice.
I'm not going to rewind and do that, but I'm going to tell you that, you know, fire's not good. Fire can be good, but fire has a vulnerability. So if you're doing this and you miss, they will hit the wall.
It's just made icicles so far. It's fine. Those are no big deal. And I won't miss. Yeah, doing it.
Just hit. You're fine. That does hit.
16 for the first one. Let's just go ahead and roll the other two.
The third two.
Hey, see, you're doing just fine. The second one, because it'd be plus what? Plus 7? Yeah, so they all hit.
Yeah. I did not add my pluses. That's fair.
So roll
right.
4 more d6.
46, and I get an extra d8 as well from just one of them. Which one of these is a d8? This one. All right,
So it's a total of 24 fire damage.
Yep, that's my turn.
This sort of this fire slams into it, and it sort of reels back. It's not taking any extra damage per se, but you can tell that it's not too happy with you. Mouse.
Scanning the room. Does anybody look faint, like they're nearing unconsciousness?
I would say, sort of at a glance with the angle that you have, you and Aesop are the worst ones off.
I am less than half, but the temp helps.
You are also a little further away. I'm gonna see if I can get rid of this last vein, so I'm gonna archer form first. My turns become very predictable.
So with disadvantage because you're restrained?
Yeah.
But you're fine.
Anyway.
That does not take it out. It's still up.
But I will guiding bolt.
Okay, disadvantage. Sadly does not hit. It occurs to me that this would hit the ice too.
Well, there might be actual parts of the cave that are rock, right?
No, this is an entirely.
My crossbow bolts definitely wouldn't hit the wall. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm not trying to change the rules mid combat too much. I think I'm going to keep it with fire, because fire is what's the ice is particularly mad about. But you do see, and also hitting the wall does not cause the entire cave to glow with guiding bolt, because that would be a little ridiculous.
That would be awesome.
But I imagine that ends your turn.
It does indeed. I'll just sit here and be restrained.
Okay. In the situation that's in now, having not been able to successfully grapple more than one person to do this, it is just going to take what it can get, and it's going to do a blood drain as it tries to seep the energy out of the people that it's grappled, as well as you see some energy pulling from the wall. So these like tentacles that are in you, Mouse, you start to feel them sort of tighten and pucker against you. If you can roll a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, I can. I did already subtract that. I didn't need to. I'll just leave it.
So take 13 psychic damage. It's going to regain a little bit more hit points than it normally does, with what it has been surviving off of right now. And Mouse, as this psychic energy courses through you, you start to get sort of flashes in your mind of some of like your worst nightmares. What would that be?
I think she sees, just looking back at Spiridon and everything being on fire, like all of the trees are being leveled. It's going to shortly be unlivable. People are screaming. That kind of nightmare.
Okay. No additional effect from that, but it's sort of like you are getting a strange sort of vision, not a vision necessarily. You'll have to extrapolate what you can out of it later, but you're getting shooken, like it's, you don't know what this necessarily represents or means, but you are getting these images that race through your mind. It still gets one. Okay, technically it should have done this in the opposite order, but I'll eat it. It still gets 2 more tentacle attacks because that counts as one of them. But it would. I think in this instance it's going for Flint and Murda, who are there. Flint first. Or 23?
Shield give 5 or 6.
5.
5. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Yep, that hits.
Okay. It's 14 for you, and then for Murda as well. That does not hit Murda. Aesop.
Cool.
Flint is restrained in front of you.
Yes. Unfortunately, it is Dimension Door that you can take someone else with you, and that is a 4th level spell that I'm trying to save. Okay. Okay. I think my focus is gonna be this last vein. I'm going to. God, there's not much else I could do besides whack at it with my weapon, which I definitely don't want to do. So I'm gonna Sacred Flame it again. My turns have also become very repetitive, but that's okay.
The veins?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have to roll for that, huh?
Yes. And they...
Or no, it's a dexterity save.
Well, these guys,
yes.
yeah, these guys don't get saves. And as your Sacred Flame hits it, the veins sort of start to turn to ash and sort of float away as you destroy that one.
The last vein's gone. If I sat here, then it would whack at me. Okay, that's good to know. I am going to give. I have one last bardic inspiration, and I am going to give it to Flint since he is restrained.
Okay.
My last one.
I assume you're not moving.
I am not moving.
Okay.
Kind of stuck in a corner, but you know what?
Yeah.
We're away from its reach.
Okay. Draw it's your turn.
Hello. A real exciting continuation of last round. 3 shots.
Do it. Unfortunately, neither of those hit. So I'll let your second attack have advantage too, because it didn't get hit, so it doesn't really know better. Oh, did we lose Rada? We might have lost Drata. Let's circle back to Drata's turn. I'll just go ahead and do Murda's really quick, just to kind of keep things moving. And when Jacob returns, we'll take care of that. Roll persuasion with disadvantage. Murda's seen fire. Oh, Art is stepped away for a second. I'm going to roll on behalf. I'm assuming that makes sense to everybody. I was technically advantage, should be disadvantage. But nonetheless, it is still enough to... Murda is just... You guys don't really know what she is or is not capable of. You know that her sword seems like it's maybe a little special. But she sort of like grits her teeth and tries to be as helpful as she can. I think in this instance, she's actually going to try to... Okay. Oh, Jacob's back. So, Jacob, we only got your first attack if we want to resume where you left off. I can't hear you at the present either, for some reason. Okay, well, let me take Myrna's turn really quick, and she's just going to go ahead and swipe at this. The first attack is a hit. The second attack is a hit as well. And I think in this instance, seeing Mouse sort of in an injured state, she is going to step away just enough to not provoke an attack of opportunity and give you the help action as a bonus action. Should you choose to use that.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
you are.
Oh, how thrilling. All right.
We'll take a break after this fight if you need time to troubleshoot, but...
No, I think my headphones just died.
Oh, that's sad.
Then my computer audio got funky. Apologies.
All good. You have 2 more attacks, though.
Great.
So you still have advantage, because you missed the first one, so I said you'd have advantage until you hit. There you go.
Okay, great.
Okay, so a total of 16.
Yes, and then one more. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
That's a lot of red on my roll screen.
Yeah, my computer said "fuck you" in every way, shape, and form. Great. Drada's gonna retreat further into the darkness, I guess.
Okay. Clax.
All right, gonna unload on this thing. Start hacking away. Oh, hold on. I'm going to burn a superiority die for a precision attack.
Okay. You need a 6 or higher.
And I don't know why when I click on it, it just doesn't roll in there. So it always takes.
I think it spends the resource by clicking the superiority die, whereas clicking the ability shows the ability.
Nope. Okay. So it didn't work. Okay, then I'll attack again. 3 nat ones in the last 5 rolls.
Ow.
That is statistically pretty rare, but
The
yeah.
dice want us to lose.
I could burn another one. Well, it's a nat 1 on an attack roll. It doesn't matter. It always hits. It always misses, right?
Correct.
Wow. All I need to do is hit with one of them. Because I was gonna. Well, I can't guarantee anything, but I had some things planned. All right, that is. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me just double check something real quick. I want to make sure. Yeah. Oh, I just have to take the attack action. Going to use my bonus action, attempt to shove the creature down to the ground since it's kind of floating. Attempt to bash with my shield, knock it down. So,
Okay.
shove always.
It is immune to the prone condition.
Never mind then. Or I could push it.
You could push
away
it, yeah, if you want to push it back 5 feet. Push
from-
it in 5 feet in some direction.
Yeah, just push it to the right 5 feet if I can.
Okay.
And that's.
I think that is a contested athletics check.
Yep, it's the shove action, and I don't have it up for once because I've used it in a while. Sorry.
You just roll athletics. It's
Okay,
the same thing.
alright. Okay. Oh, wait for Foundry to catch up.
You're successful.
Alright.
You just bash it one space to the right.
That is my turn.
Okay.
Actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to use my movement, I think, to kind of... yeah, I'll stay right there, kind of
Okay.
halfway in between everybody.
Flint, you get pulled 5 feet along with it.
All right. What am I doing here? I'm gonna try to get my cannon a little ways down here, kind of right next to Clax, I think. And I'll activate it on the way. Really think any of us need it up here? I do. That's but while it's in transit, I'll activate it.
Are you and Clax?
Yep.
Hey.
Ooh,
Hey,
take
big
that.
12. All right. And then I think seeing how this thing sucked the life out of Mouse last turn, I'm gonna attempt to get loose. Plus, everybody seems to be really anti-fire. Yeah.
14 is just what you needed. So
Oh, good.
you shimmy out of that. You do still have your movement if you would like to use it.
No, I think I'm gonna. Actually, if anything, I'm gonna step closer. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be in melee, but
You
I'll
don't want to
a
step 21 feet away from it so that it gets a reaction. Are you sure?
No. No. Yeah, I'll stay here. I'm good. That's my turn.
Okay. Mouse, you are up and restrained.
In a change of events, I'm just gonna stay restrained until this thing dies. But I'm going to cast Aura of Vitality. And then I will take this cool, guys. I'll take this first round for myself as the designated reviver of the group.
Okay. I'm deleting that big teal block because it's an eyesore, but it is definitely there. That is your action, I believe. Oh, and your bonus action?
To cast it and then a bonus action to use it.
Gotcha.
I think my full turn.
Okay. The beginning of its turn, we'll see if it gets its leech back. Needs to roll 6. It does not. So it's just in full tentacle mode at the moment. I think it's sort of realizing that there's something in the darkness shooting at it. It is going to take 3 steps. This does bring it out of Clax's attack range. If you want to take an attack of opportunity,
I will absolutely take an attack of opportunity.
in dragging it, it's also essentially pushing Mouse through that effort. Though currently it does not see anything. That definitely hits.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, before you tell me, I know it hits because we've seen it, but no, I guess that's doesn't add it at the end. Okay. Yep, that's it. So
Okay.
13 slashing.
It doesn't find what it's looking for deep in the darkness, but that's all it can move because it's quite a slow creature. So it's going to take 1 tentacle against Clax.
Yeah, I thought about not taking the opportunity attack to save the reaction, but misses.
Misses. 1 against Murda. Misses, and then it has 1 more left, so I think that probably just goes after Murda or Clax as well in this instance. That's against Murda. And that
that was
definitely
almost a 1.
hits. Yeah. as you see her grappled by this thing again. Now, it is looking pretty bad, I will say. This thing is struggling, and it's sort of, reacting to every hit, and it seems like it's, close to falling down. But nonetheless, it is sustained some blows at this time. So, Aesop, it is your turn.
Didn't know I was muted. LOL. Flint, how are you looking on health?
Fine, I've got 32 plus 12 temp. So
I feel such like a selfish healer for only healing myself. But I only have the healing that I need to touch someone with, unfortunately. Let's see. Sorry, gonna make some measurements. Nope, can't get there without being attacked. Okay, so instead, what's the range on this? Okay, DM. If I cast a shatter spell, is it possible, because it's a 10-foot radius, to just cast it on the floating eye above ground, or is it bound to hit ice?
I think the answer is possibly you have to position it pretty precisely. So if you make an Arcana check, then if you cast the spell, I'll let you make an Arcana check DC. I'd say just like DC 13 to be able to avoid hitting the cave.
Okay. Well. Nope, I'm gonna heal myself. I am low. And I'm going to use a 3rd level to hopefully get me... Yeah. Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I will do that in a second. And then in terms of its reach, I will stand... I'll get a little bit closer. I will... Let's see. 5, 10, 15. I'll stand right there.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
Drawda, you're up. You have its attention. You can sort of see it coming towards you, but it doesn't... You never, like, lock eye with it. So it's aware of your presence, so you would not get any kind of advantage at the moment.
Okay. I'll still pop 3 shots off.
Okay. Do it.
Ah, we're rolling great.
You know?
Wow.
There you go.
Great.
All those nat 20s that it rolled at the beginning, and all these low rolls that you guys are getting at the end. Still sneak attack. And Hunter's Mark.
4 out of his last 6 rolls
Hey,
were
that's
1,
pretty
1,
good.
2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then I will spend my movement moving in a different direction to try to throw it off. At least so it's heading in the wrong direction. It doesn't exactly know where these arrows are coming from.
Okay. Murda's turn. I think at this point, I mean, she's grappled by it. She sees that it's low. She's going to, well, you can roll persuasion one more time if you want. The DC is increasing though.
Great. Yeah. Mom, listen to your son, please. Oh, not with that roll.
Do you still have your advantage or your
You still have silvery barbs technically.
Thank you.
From a while ago.
So it's up to you
Yeah,
from an RP standpoint.
Yeah, I think I would. You're right. Thank you.
And I don't see this as an active conversation. I more see this as like the influence you had on her earlier.
Right.
But yes, okay.
Sheesh.
She, at this point, I think she's taking sort of the mouse approach. It's like, all right, we're grappled by this. let's just do our best. She's going to take 2 swipes at it with 3 swipes at it with disadvantage.
Woo. Woo.
Oops, third attack is technically a dagger. Unfortunately, all 3 of those miss. As she is a large creature and doesn't have like a lot of room to wiggle out of this, and unfortunately, not using sort of like the finesse way to use these weapons, she's not able to get the right leverage to do this. Clax.
All right, rushing forward and swiping away. Wait one. I will burn a superiority die. Take the chance.
Okay.
So that's gonna be precision attack, and then the D8 roll is. Come on, 6, 7, or 8. 6, 7, or 8. 6, 7, or 8. Fuck, bastard. All right, I can't miss 4 straight attacks in a row, right? Right? Right?
Why do you say things out loud?
I will burn my last superiority die because I am going to hit this stupid son of a. I won't say it out loud, but yeah. All right, so
Need a
precision
2.
attack.
higher.
Roll.
Hey.
Ooh, barely. Jeez. Man, what a mess.
It is
so
still
11.
up.
Yeah.
Still
That's
up, but you're making progress.
bonus action. I can try and knock it into the wall to see if that does any damage, but with my shield, that's about all I can do.
Do you
I
want
can't-
to do that?
Yeah, it's bonus
Okay.
action. Might as well. So athletics.
Yep. Okay. Roll a d6, and then it'll take half that damage. Sort of. Like, they say 1d6 is 10 feet of falling, so I imagine 5 feet of shoving against the wall is half that. So 2 damage as you just sort of plaster it against the wall.
That's my turn.
Okay. Flint. It's looking pretty hurt.
Yeah, what do I... All my damage is fire. Alright. Yeah, I know. It worked last time. Alright, to start, move this cannon 20-ish feet. Where can I get to? There. Ooh. And I'll activate it around Murda and Clax, I guess. So
I can
either
still
of
keep
them.
the 12 though that I got in the
Yeah,
last
you
turn,
keep
right?
the 12.
It's such a bummer that Scorching Ray is also 3 attack rolls.
Bummer.
It's a risk. And we haven't seen what happens yet. It might not be that bad. Yeah, nope, doing it. Tired of this thing.
It's a very Flint thing to do, I think.
Feels pretty Flint-like. Alright. I think I have a Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's true. I'll use that here.
That is correct.
See if I...
That hits.
I thought it was
Alright.
3 on your die. I was
Yeah,
like,
the number looked weird, but yes.
And then... What is my plus to hit, actually?
Plus 7.
Plus 7? Alright, so I'll do... this...
That hits.
And then...
And that also hits.
Hey, see?
4
Fire's fine!
4 more d6.
46.
plus 8.
And then a D8.
Oh, a D8. Okay.
How did I roll an
You rolled-
8 on 4d6?
You rolled crap.
So that's
Dice want this thing
14.
to win.
19.
14 plus 7 is 21.
Oh, where's the
Yeah.
step?
From
up
his
top,
first
I was like,
attack, yeah. You fire the 3. What are you aiming for as you sort of
I
deliver
mean,
the killing blow?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I'm aiming for the eyeball. Just trying to knock it out of the sky.
Yeah. You hit it 3 times, and sort of as the fire, I sort of described it as like looking to be snow covered. It's not actual snow; it was sort of a form of camouflage. But as you sort of burn away the flesh there, you start to see the veins that were running in the nerve veins that were running into the eye and down the spinal column. It's still connected to that far wall. That they become severed, and the entire creature just sort of crumbles as there's a large crashing of bones on the ground. Bones and flesh that just sort of hit the ground as like this creature stops moving.
And immediately apologizes to the cave. Sorry for fire.
That was a 2-hour combat, and I feel like take a short break, and then we'll digest that from there, because that was quite a lot of fighting.
I enjoyed it.
And I'll use 9 more rounds of Aura of Vitality.
Yep. Do that during the break if you'd like, but we'll be right back. We return after sort of the moment passes where everybody's sort of breathing heavily and checking in on each other, and Mouse distributes a variety of uh, healing magic for everybody. The cannon recharges its full strength, and everybody just sort of breathes a sigh of relief as you just sort of hear silence in the cave once again.
Hey, did does anyone know what that thing was?
It's dead.
How did something like that get here?
I'll walk over and just kick it.
Uh,
I don't take a closer look at it, but it's
yeah. Roll me, I think, an Arcana check.
Did I take a closer look at like the vein holes?
Yeah,
I
sure.
guess just to try to establish how long this thing has been working its way into ice.
Yeah, please feel free. Draw to steps from the darkness, and you guys see them for the first time in some time.
I think I would check in with my mom.
Do you want to draw to roll me a? So what are you trying? You're just trying to perceive how far they spread.
Yeah, trying how widespread, how deep they're going.
Okay. It seems that the work that your team put into this did sort of sever their connection to this entity, whatever it was. It didn't seem to. It seemed that of the veins that were sort of actively creating this circulatory system throughout the cave, that it was only really extending about like that 30-40 feet within this crevice of the cave. Give me a survival check, though. Or I say survival medicine, or yeah, survival or medicine. No,
Woo!
yeah, it's just sort of at a glance. It's a little too alien to you to learn anything else about it. With the Arcana 27, what is it that you want to know? Like, what is it that you're looking for?
It's a good question. I think trying to figure out. I think the thing that's top of Flint's mind is trying to figure out like if this thing seems like something that was like engineered or some sort of natural parasite of elementals. If I think that this is a really large version of something that might be afflicting all of the elementals on this island, like trying to figure out if this is like a common disease or if this was just something affecting the glacier, is the main thing on his mind. I don't know how much I can really glean from just looking at one of these things, though.
Okay. We're honoring the natural 20, but give me an additional history check because I want to see what to weave together with this. Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, where were these rolls when there was damage?
Yeah. It's fine. You have 1,000,000 hit points. You guys are fine.
Oh, yeah.
I would say what you gather. Well, I'll say above board, I named the creature Aberration to keep some mystery behind it. But Aberration is a creature type, like elementals are a creature type. Whatever you choose to name this creature, having experienced its wrath, I'll leave that up to you. But what you know about aberrations within this sort of homebrew D&D world is that they are kind of an arcane influence on that come from sort of otherworldly origins. The arcana that it would take to bring an aberration into this world feels kind of like something that you would only really hear about in horror stories. It's like sort of a eldritch horror situation for one of these things to crawl through wherever they come from. And so really they're unseen and unheard of, and people don't really believe in them at all. That's sort of the history lens from this. And within Natural 20 Arcana, this one in particular, you imagine that you sort of like are piecing together not just what's happening in this cave, but sort of what's on this island, with that sort of awareness that aberrations could be a cause of what's going on. And you sort of discern that the rain and the storms and these things that are happening to the island must be sort of spreading this perhaps like elemental plague upon the resident, or the elemental residents here. This glacial changeling being able to shelter itself from the storm must have been doing so to avoid the harshness of the rain, but that didn't stop this aberration from growing within it. What you imagine is that a lot of the elementals on this island are probably being plagued by something similar, but that the size of this creature sort of changes the scale a bit. This aberration had room to grow, and so it became a sort of tumor within the body of this glacial changeling. Whereas all the other elementals on the surface of the island are may not have that luxury.
Does the cave, the elemental changeling, seem to be healing those spots where my moonbeam kind of started to crack the ice?
Go ahead and roll a nature check if you're going to go inspect that area.
I'm real short. It's hard to see.
Mouse just had a bad dream in the middle of combat too, so you know, things are hard. But you all sort of recover from the immediacy of this combat, and sort of look at each other for the first time and sort of do a head count, and you know everybody's there, everybody's safe. But what do you do?
You guys see if
go
the
ahead.
cave's doing okay?
Yeah, I'll look at Drada. Drada, seemed like you were better with the kind of dialect it was speaking. Do you want to try saying something?
That's bold. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to say something if we're all prepared to get a little chilly.
Well, that's fair. Should we step outside of the cave before we talk to it?
I'll give you a freebie with the Nat 20 Arcana earlier. Such a tumor, if you would call it that, would cause a creature like this to not be able to control itself in that way. So, because that you've excised it, you'd probably imagine that it has more freedom to not accidentally hurt you by talking.
Guys, I think it might be better now. I think you can probably talk to it and it not hurt us.
Okay, I'll support you, Drada, with how you start the conversation.
Sounds good. Thinking back to what granted us access to the cave in the first place, which I think was the phrase, like, we're here to help, or something simple and vague, which I think misinterpreted, but then I was like, yes, please help us with this tumor. I think I would reach out and speak in primordial, a watery dialect, Are you feeling better? Was that helpful?
You watch sort of the icicles start to shudder, and they start to move across the ceiling, like there's like the cones of the icicle are sliding across the ceiling until you see them sort of form the vague shape of a face. And the
Hi.
teeth of the icicle start to like vibrate in a way that creates sort of like micro fractures within that sort of translate to you as sound through your primordial speech. It seems that the barriers of like dialects are less of an issue now as well, now that it has sort of full control of itself. And it says, I am most gracious for your support in these trying days. It has been some time since I've felt free.
We're happy to help you find this feeling of freedom, and yeah, it's our pleasure to be there. Is this what ailed you? How long has it been here? Do you know how it got here with you?
You start to see that it considers the whole party, and like the vague shape of these icicles flowing around does create like a sense of like direction as it's looking at each and every one of you. Eventually it sort of pulls away, and you start to see the icicle drift down to the floor, from the ceiling to the floor, and it starts to form into like an icicle sculpture of you, Drada. And then speaks in common with your appearance as sort of like a snowman, Drada.
I didn't think I could get wider than this, but here we are.
The nature of this is unknown to me. I have not experienced the like of it before. Sorry, the DM kind of forgot if you asked a specific question.
Oh, also, how long?
Oh, how long? It considers for a moment and says, it turns its sort of snowman Drada head down to the shattered spinal column of the connecting to the eye stalk, before responding, and it says, it has been perhaps 3 weeks since I first arrived within this cave and felt its effect on me.
I'm so sorry that these past 3 weeks have been so uncomfortable.
It looks upon all of you and says, my name is Frostrot, and I am in your debt. And that's all it says, as it sort of just stands before you, sort of expectantly. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong name.
Nice to meet you, Frostlight. Sorry, go for it. Drada, this is Flint, the one who's rudely interrupting.
Are you aware of what else is happening to this island and the storm that's afflicting the other elementals?
My companions and I had sought shelter from the storm. One of them came to me with this, sort of points down at the eyeball in the room. Much smaller and attached to itself. Said that it found it and was unable to get rid of it in other mountains within the island. I don't know exactly where. Said that there was a larger one that sort of gave it to him. He saw it as a boon initially and thought to bring it to me, but I knew better. But I wasn't able to escape it after all.
What kind of companion were they? Was it another being like yourself, or was it a different element altogether?
One like myself, yes. And as it came to me, I became infected as well.
So you believe there's another one of these parasites out there somewhere that is larger than this one that we just killed?
I believe that there is a source of the parasites, something that grows atop a mountain and spreads great pain.
Do you guys think it was where the lightning came from?
Oh.
That's at the southern end of the island.
Yeah, and that did look like it was from a mountain or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at Frostrot to see if it reacts to any of this, being like, "Oh, mountain, south, lightning. Does that feel right?"
It responds and says, my partner did mention a being that wielded all elements. It had arms. It's sort of like, as a creature that doesn't necessarily know the concept of arms because it's only imitating Drada's form, it raises these snowman arms as it says the word. It had arms of fire, water, ice, and lightning. It controls the weather, I believe.
That explains the dramatic change of weather outside. This is insane. You don't really travel outside of this cave much, do you? This is kind of your home. And we understand that you want to be within your home, especially in trying times, but I just want to make sure that's correct.
It responds to say, I would like to leave. This place grows too small for me. but I fear it's not safe.
Are either of you two able to banish a creature?
Mm-mm. It is unsafe outside. We experienced that just walking through here and encountering all of the, now we know, infected elementals as well. There are a group of people that look like me and um, the woman behind me.
Your mom just waves. She's never spoken to an elemental before.
Who are trying to get rid of this issue. I fear, though, that they don't know the total picture of what's going on here. And whatever you could provide to them would be essential in getting rid of the problem. However, they are kind of a far distance away.
DM processing. Roll me a persuasion check. Okay. 20 is pretty good. It's good in that you've motivated it, but it still sort of lacks the means, and so it responds to say, if there's a way I can help, I will. I will consider this.
Are you capable of casting magic spells? Or
DM is thinking like it has magical spells, but they are considered innate spell casting, so I think it's like it's not magic in the traditional sense. So it looks and says, no, I control the elements naturally. I shall find a way to be helpful. But I will need some time to think on it.
Would you be able to travel to your brethren and help them escape from their parasitic infection?
The storms would make that quite difficult.
Mhm.
But perhaps.
That might be a good option, helping free them. Fortunately, we don't know where they are, that we would be able to help you with that, as we are on our own time schedule and getting events done here.
If you have more information that we could even pass along about location of the lake, we'd be happy to do so.
Yeah, adding on top of that, if there are any other elemental beings that you know that are free of this parasitic source, any information on them would be incredibly helpful.
He gives you a set of names that I'm just putting in chat. He says these names: Cryo Arcanum, Glacialon, Icemaw, Glacius, and Frostheart. And he says, these are my family. If you tell them that Frostrot seeks to resist the storm, perhaps they will be emboldened to follow you. Or your people.
What was it? Phrase again?
The frost rock resists the storm.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you are probably aware, any allies and support in this endeavor would be most helpful, and we're grateful for what you provided.
Much appreciated. This island can't be set right working alone.
You hear it sort of nod to you. It's like inheriting the mannerisms of whatever it's resembling at the moment, but as it sort of nods to you, it starts to melt away, and you start to see the icicles travel back up from the ground into the ceiling before they just sort of shake a little bit, as almost like a waving of goodbye, and then they start to disperse around the cave as it seems to take a more ambient form.
I'll look at my mom and be like, I understand that we as an organization take care of elemental issues. However, I think you and I can both agree that this has now become a more dangerous issue, whether Hardak wants to believe it or not.
Well, certainly is not an elemental dispute. We aren't problem solving for anything in the typical way. This is something different. Something I have not seen the likes of myself or heard about.
I don't want to say it's above the organization's pay grade, but at least you guys need some kind of support out here.
Well, if there is a source to all this, then it can be stopped, I imagine. The question is if Hardak is keen to... She's sort of thinking in her head and says, news of this will give Hardak two options that I can see. This is just based on tactics that I picked up from your father. Directions I imagine Hardak to take. But if they can refuel this ship, then he can either go with his original plan and send it back home with the apprentices and potentially with you all and maybe myself, or if it's in the mountains where we saw that lightning, we sail the ship straight there and drop on it, take our entire force and just cut it off where it stands, see what happens. I'm bringing you back to the map as she sort of... oops, wrong map. I don't know that you guys have a real map, but what she's sort of... that your characters have a real map, but she's almost suggesting that if it's down here somewhere, if that's where you saw the lightning and mountains in that direction, she's suggesting that the ship could either fly away and go back home, or the ship could sort of do a direct assault, which would keep any sort of strike team from having to walk all the way around in treacherous territory and then climb a mountain. And it would be reasonably fast. So she sort of says that out loud and says, I guess it's a matter of trusting the information. Obviously, our friend Frostrot has no reason to lie to us, but
It's in the same situation we are.
yeah,
Stuck.
I think in a way that Hardak could be convinced, but it's a matter of whether that's the right choice or not. Also, we could play the long game and just sort of take people home, send Eridarin to do us like the normal operation for something like this is for Eridarin to send his scouts all the way around to go check it out, and then come all the way back, and then we form a sort of plan. But if this is spreading, there's some urgency behind going now, but what Hardak will inevitably say is, what if that's the wrong decision? What if...
Not to be like, at a certain point, your leadership needs to make decisive action. But if time is ticking down, it sounds like Hardak needs to make an action and make it soon.
Hardak isn't necessarily that type of leader, but I think there are people in camp who would agree with you. If T-Rock were here, she sort of says, letting that thought fade, because finding T-Rock isn't necessarily going to help with this time crunch either. First things first, I suppose we should rest.
Yes.
Mouse, do you think this is a creature that you would be able to send messages to?
You mean like Frostrot or like whatever his parasite is? I don't know.
It says a creature, not a humanoid, so
maybe.
Because if we can get an answer from, the recovery squad on what they're doing, we could send a message to Frostrot and get him to try to rally some of his family and meet us there on some specific time frame. If we were attacking.
Frostrot does not. I'm thinking about it. Frostrot does not have a defined gender, but nonetheless.
Fair. Do you think Flint will probably try to recognize he can't take this entire creature back, but will try to see if there are pieces of this that he thinks would be useful for whatever the other magic user was, the only magic user in the recovery squad.
Foundry.
Yeah, just trying to collect some pieces that might give them some insights into the nature of this and how it's afflicting the other elementals, or just parts that might be useful in general.
Rada will be joining you in this, not in the effort of trying to be useful, but trying to find cool small bones for jewelry.
I think Drada can definitely do that.
Incredible, thank you.
Flint, yeah, I mean, you collect some things, you don't know what's useful and what's not, or what's useful to Foundry, but you collect some samples of tissue versus blood versus bone.
Some of it's also just trying to bring back proof that this is a thing. I don't have a good sense for how much the recovery squad will believe us. Hard to bring the entire eyeball, but enough of it to.
I think think Merida has a good
That's
thing,
fair.
Yeah,
has some influence.
yeah. Aesop's mother would vouch for the truth of it, but it doesn't necessarily account for the accuracy of the Frostrat's information. It's like there's indeed an aberration here. Murda saw that, but nobody can really confirm the rest.
Do we think we're trying to camp around here or start trekking back?
It's still technically like it's just turning noon right now, so you do still have daylight to go if you'd like.
I wouldn't mind taking a short break. If you think we
Same.
have time.
Well, I think out here a short break means 8 hours.
All right. I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I would say like you're not going to get random encountered in here though, so
Well, that's how cold is it in here? Like, is it reasonable for us to?
it's reasonable. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not any more uncomfortable than the rest of the island.
All right. I'll
What
start
is it,
fire.
considered a safe space?
Do you want to like? Do you want to take the equivalent of like the 8-hour rest and sort of extend it to the next morning, or like take some more like 14 hours so that you're syncing back up on a normal clock, or what?
Well, above board, we're not getting any additional benefit of a natural short rest, if I remember correctly, right?
Correct.
Even though we're in a cave, we're not getting that.
correct, because it's freezing cold in here.
So I say we move.
You do have, because I think we've taken some breaks. You do have that supply kit that I think Sean, that might not have been in your notes on the Gaming Best, but there is a consumable item that gives one long rest under normal conditions. But also,
I don't know. It took us like 3 days to get here, I think. So I don't know how people are feeling. Hit points, spells, whatever, about trying to make that trek back.
2 days.
2 days? Okay.
I still got spells to heal and hit, so I'm okay. Welcome back right now.
I've been worse. I'm not doing terrible.
If time's of the essence, let's get down off this hill or this mountain. Let's start making our way back is my recommendation.
I'm with Clax.
Murda asks, when you say time is of the essence, do you mean screw the stealthy approach, or we can go at a full speed if we want?
Well, I meant I didn't want to waste an entire day, the rest of the entire day. As for stealthy, I mean, a giant bird wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase it. It was a lot of fun, but I don't think we're really in the shape to.
Above board though, you could at full speed get back and like tonight. It's 20 hours away, 10 hours of normal travel, 20 hours of stealthy travel.
You guys want to try and hoof it and get there tonight?
Let's say we start hoofing it through the mountain because we know it's pretty quiet up here. There's not a whole lot going on, and then we reevaluate once we get off the mountain and see where we're at. Because who knows if we get tied up trying to get down off the mountain, it takes longer. It might not be worth it before we get out.
It's fair, and I mean, at least for part of our trek, even. I mean, it's for 2 of however many hours, right, give or take, but I can make us a little stealthier along the way.
I'm just pre-rolling the days because I kind of forgot to.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Use Drada's spells to get us out of the mountains at a faster pace, maybe, and then once we're out, go from there.
Let's do it.
What Drada spells are making you fast?
Going at a faster speed, but passing without trace.
It doesn't really work that way. Passive no trace increases your stealth, but you still have to take the hide action, which makes you go at half speed.
Can't you like hide at normal pace, but like with disadvantage or something? I feel like that's, I don't know, whatever.
Sure, if you want to do that, we'll say that that's true for now at the very least.
I could be totally making that up.
Regardless, it sounds like we're huffing it. So
Yeah, the water walking was a risk, and that worked out semi-okay.
and hey, every single time that Flint used fire, it was a risk, and it worked fine.
Yeah.
We should take more risks.
I'm glad to see people using spell slots. The last session, for 4 hours, we used one spell, maybe. That was not a ritual.
Safety third.
I burned everything I got, and with this, without getting short rests, that's like the equivalent of spells for me.
Okay, so we're doing pass without trace for the first little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
I mean, while we're descending a mountain and are the most exposed.
Okay. Cool. Go ahead and burn that. I did roll the events already. So you're making up a little bit of time as you exit the mountain, having enjoyed just sort of some nominal healing from Mouse earlier. You look at, I'd say, what are the two people in the lead? I imagine Drada might be one of them again, but who else is with Drada in front?
You know, Mouse has been leading the way, but I'd like to, if I'm not in the front, I like to be near the front just in case we run into anything.
You can take the lead. I didn't sleep great last night, and that fight really took it out of me.
I'll stick with Mouse.
So if Klax and Drada can roll me some perception checks. Okay. Klax, you're just keeping an eye out on the immediate perimeter, and you are satisfied without the sound of any enemies coming by. Drada, you sort of, as you're exiting the mountain and getting sort of walking people up the river without actually climbing into it, of course, you look back at the mountain where Frostrot was, and you just sort of see that it's sort of with a 19, and now in daylight you're able to more clearly see that there are remnants of those veins that are sort of like now like coming out of rocks on the mountainside. They've all withered away, but what you can kind of glean from that a little bit is that like whatever these tumors or aberrations, whatever they are, the larger they get, the bigger their spread is. That it seems like, first of all, it grows larger than you think, but second of all, you wonder if there's places that you might be able to weaken it from the outside. This thing is what occurs to you.
Yeah, I think I try to point out the remnants of veins as we go, but I think for the remainder of this trek, I am actively looking in the rock and on the ground for any vein-like structure, and if I see it, I take a dagger and cut it, or I stab it, or
Yeah.
shoot it, whatever.
For the time being, you don't, but I'll keep that as a mental note. And sort of as you're leaving that one mountain, you're like, all right, that mountain's dealt with, but maybe in the future. That is the first bit of travel, which we'll say, even though Pass Without Trace is only 1 hour, we'll just say that it counts for the whole 4 hours in this case. Second path to trace for the second 4 hours. You. Oh wait, sorry. That's only 2 hours to get there because you're moving at full speed. So for the second 2 hours at full speed, you have. As you come to, go ahead and roll me. Let's say I want to make 2 other people roll, even though I know that Drada's in the lead. 2 other people roll me perception or investigation checks, or yeah, one of those 2.
I'll help with this one.
Sure, I'll roll a investigation.
Okay. You, during this bit of travel, you pick up the scent of lavender sands once again. Do you choose to do anything with that information? I'd say, well, I'll say with the one of you doing perception and the other investigation, actually, let me not let you choose to do anything just yet. Mouse smells it, and then Flint is sort of like looking around to find any signs of footprints. And instead of finding footprints, you find like a little incense holder, sort of like a little small prism-shaped cage, metal cage that an incense would sort of be propped up within, in order to send off the smoke. And you see that there's like a little bundle of incense next to it.
Do you guys think he's like a genie, and if we just like rub this incense thing, he'll just like appear?
I thought they were Johnny.
Maybe if we
Blow it
burn
out
the...
and dies. Don't do that. Don't do that. Have fun, try it.
Sorry,
Doesn't
don't...
hurt.
What?
Doesn't hurt.
I mean, we don't really need to talk to Kina again, do we?
I'll say with the investigation 21, there's also a piece of paper under it.
I will read this piece of paper. Or, well, I will attempt to read this piece of paper.
You open it, and it says, "Indeed, this is not the work of my brother. Your help was most appreciated. You may call on me at any time with 3 questions." And you see that there's like 3 sticks of incense in there.
All right, well, maybe we should take this with us.
There.
I did not create an item for it, but I will between sessions. Who's holding on to it, though?
I can take it.
Okay.
Okay. But you pick that up, and you just find a nice little treasure left for you during this next 4 hour or next 2 hours of running across the sands. You're making good time. Would you, and you haven't really encountered any dangers yet, would you like to continue at a fast pace?
I mean, it would be nice to just be back at the safety of the camp,
You know,
where we go to
I
bed.
think it's time we fuck around and find out. Let's deal with consequences. Let's go.
I agree.
Working so far.
Murda has a look on her face of like, this is not safe, but also I agree.
We have mom's approval. Let's go.
There's too much information to be told about everything happening here. We need to book it.
Christ. I just saw what I rolled. Roll me a group. Well, so presently, before you take this leg of the adventure, you're no longer under any sort of pass without a trace. Would Drada have done anything to sort of continue the sprint? Do you have anything left?
Sure don't. No, I would like to think at some point, last session I was like, I should really teach everyone how to walk better in a way that will draw less attention. I don't think that's happened yet. At some point we're gonna do it, but yeah, Drada's good at being fast and sneaky. But can't help the party at this point.
Yeah. I need everybody to give me a stealth check with disadvantage, assuming you're still trying to do this.
That's just my normal stealth check.
Honestly, not that bad. Well, we still need
Wait.
disadvantage. Hey, honestly,
Yeah.
not bad. I mean, that's
There's
honestly
this
not
weird
bad.
situation of like, it is better to just go ahead and stealth fast if you're already wearing heavy armor.
Yeah. Would you rather I roll publicly or privately?
Whatever you want.
DM's choice.
Yeah.
We don't have context for what this is. Have fun.
Yeah. I love Drada's answer. Absolutely. Dun dun dun.
Oh, sorry, I was doing math.
I was just enjoying the facial reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me a perception check, those who are in the lead. This is going to be Drada and Klax again. It's like, okay. Drada, you pull Klax away as you start to look into the distance. You see it, but you know it sees you as well. Currently, some 60. It's currently some like 200 feet away on sort of these flat sands. You see another sort of aberration. You're not very familiar with aberrations, but you know that based on the shape of this, the one giant eye with 8 eye stalks coming out of it. Is it 8? More like 10 eye stalks coming out of it. You see what players might recognize as a beholder.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
We got this. We got this.
And I'm going to say this. You, like, looking at your party members, knowing that it's 200 feet away, and knowing that you've been seen, it may occur to you to run.
No, I think it's running time, kids.
I just go drop. What?
Giant eyeball, run. Like, any joking expression completely drops from Drada's face, turns around, whips, like, just starts booking it.
I'm still. Oh, what? What? Oh shit!
Flax, behind you, eyeball, run.
You all start to run. I would like to ask you to... We're going to start an initiative. It's not going to be a traditional combat. It's going to be a little loosey-goosey. Just going to drag a standard beholder here onto the map.
Mm-hmm.
Super standard, yeah.
Totally. It's like, it's a standard in the sense that it's the D&D Beyond art and not any kind of AI generated art, because I didn't fully prepare for this. But you are in the immediate future being pursued. We're going to go to initiative order just to sort of get people's turns in how they can sort of react to this situation. So if we could go ahead and roll those very quick. You also have Gift of Alacrity, but you don't need it. You're already top. So movement is not really a factor in this moment. One thing that you see immediately as you start to turn tail and run is that you're already making ground. This thing does not move very fast. You're pretty confident that you can outrun it. The challenge is losing its scent. So Drada, as you begin your turn, how do you sort of navigate that with you and your party?
Do I know that it tracks by scent?
You don't know anything about aberrations. I was using scent in the metaphor, like you just
Okay,
you need
cool.
it to
I was
not
about to
see
be
you.
like, oh,
Yeah, sorry.
okay.
It's you need to lose it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking for any complicated looking terrain features. Anything that, a cave entrance, a dense forest, some real spicy sand dunes, anything in which through elevation or through either scattering or just finding a decent place to hide, if we can ever lose or even just losing eyesight line, that would be helpful.
Go ahead and give me a perception check. Currently, you're in a pretty flat, sandy area. So you're sort of looking on the horizon. With a perception 13, you're not really finding what you're looking for. You're not able to sort of sense the details of it. You do sort of see like a set of rock outcroppings to the south that you might have some luck with, but you have to investigate the terrain more closely to know what's possible.
Yeah, I think with that in mind, if that's the best shot I have, I start looking it in that direction. When you say on the horizon, as in after running for 5 to 10 minutes, I could get there, or hours of travel.
These aren't going to be typical 6-second rounds, so you'll be there next round. But it is probably it's probably 100 feet away.
Okay. I think that's the best cover we have. I'm running in that direction and make a gesture for folks to follow.
Okay. You all catch wind of because Drada sort of runs past you, and you sort of look back to see what Drada is running from, and you see this just floating giant eyeball that is coming straight for you. And while you might have a moment of bravery, you see 3 different rays shoot towards you that don't have the range to hit you at the moment, but you're just sort of suddenly being chased by this flying eyeball that has lasers, and that terrifies you. So the rays sort of disintegrate into space. They don't actually reach you at all, but it continues to float towards you without pause. Mouse, what are you doing to sort of aid in the attempt to hide?
Yeah, knowing that we are the slowest and therefore likely trailing behind, and hiding does take slowing down a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and wild shape into an elk and run up next to Flint and kneel down so that on his turn he can mount me and I can take off, so that we can kind of catch up with Drada.
Okay, makes sense. That does keep the party together, which is important. Flint.
I guess I'm jumping on Mouse. Yeah, I'm not sure how much I feel like in this moment Hood can do, but he's also, I think, trying to look for. Well, I guess I'm trusting that Drada is leading us towards something. I might be looking for, like, if there is loose, like, boulders or ground or something that I feel like I could potentially just, like, shoot firebolts at or something to, like, make the terrain just even the tiniest bit more difficult for it to follow.
A firebolt is not a percussive
Yeah.
blast. You're not gonna actually cave anything in with a firebolt.
Sure. Then perhaps if there are trees or anything that I could light on fire to obscure our movements.
Okay. Firebolt also doesn't catch things on fire. It's a cantrip. It's a cantrip. Okay.
I have nothing useful.
You have full spell slots.
Well,
You're very conservative with your spell slots. I just want to make sure that cantrips, you know that they can't do everything.
yes. And now that I'm on Mouse, I can't make us both invisible. I don't think levitating will help. I don't think. At the moment, I will look for a good opportunity to give Mouse spider climb, potentially, if I think it'll help us get down into some sort of ravine or something easier.
Could you
But-
give elk spider climb?
I mean, I'm gonna fall off you, but yeah. Maybe.
Levitate's cool too. I could be a flying reindeer. All of these options sound great to me.
Levitate just makes you go up and down. You can't move forward anymore.
One find a sleigh. It's Santa time, baby. Santa chased by a giant floating eyeball of death.
A
Well,
hit song coming this winter.
if you want to, because this is a loose initiative, if you want to react to somebody else with a spell, just say so. Or for now, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Murda as well doesn't really have too much to do, but she will come in with a help action on anything that is sort of strength based that she can do. Strength or dex based that she can do. Clax.
Regretfully, Clax can't do a whole hell of a lot in this situation other than run. And so even if he takes the dash, doubling it, if there's anybody lagging behind, he'll try and help him out by picking him up. But oh no, he's leaving his shield on his back because he figures if the rays come from behind, maybe that'll help him not be disintegrated. But other than that, just hoofing it.
Okay. Aesop, anything?
Yes. Do I see the rocky outcroppings that Drada is taking us to?
Yeah, I would say you're like, well, what are we running towards? And it's in front of you.
Okay, how far away is that?
Like 150 feet. You're coming up on it.
Okay.
Spell distances are a little bit loose right now because you can outrun it, so you can set up whatever you want. But
and no one's lagging behind. We're all above like 30 feet now with Mouse Elk. No one's really lagging behind.
yeah, I think technically Drada can with
Drada's fully going. Drada can move 70 feet on his first turn.
even more with
he
cutting
can-
action. You can because you can bonus action
Yeah.
dash as well. So Drada can be wherever Drada wants to be, but everybody else is keeping pace with each other.
Drada's investigating the rock features for any place that any crevasses, Any place in which an
I
entangle could be cast to hide us under, or in some other way. Any place that feels high and out
Yeah.
of the way.
But
Options.
Aesop's turn for now.
I can't do anything because Kinetic Jaunt is a minute. So it won't really help in this situation since rounds are loosey-goosey. So I'm keeping pace, saving spells for possible another event in this situation.
Okay. So we'll bring it back to Drada, who seems to be the most active participant at the moment. You guys are just sort of, I think, keeping pace with Drada and reacting to whatever Drada's needs are, maybe in this moment. So Drada, you come to, you rolled a 13 perception of finding this. You find the problem is that it's like the rocks create just a sort of canyon that you could technically like jump into, but if this creature is flying, it's just going to fly over and look down and see you. Assuming that it has any kind of intelligence to sort of look behind the curtain, so to speak. Like this is a place where you could get cover, but if this creature is intelligent, it's not going to fool it unless you do something creative.
Yeah, my thought would be, yeah, if I can get into this canyon ravine situation, yeah, and find a place where I could cast Entangle to create a section of growth that would like cover us in a niche. That's where my brain goes, or anywhere like where there's some loose rocks and boulders that could be. Clax could get over here and push into the canyon to like create some additional cover, or places where like we would not be super visible at all.
There's a potential there. I will say that it's like green vines are still going to be a big contrast again to anything with intelligence, but
This is fair, and also I will say flavor text wise, whenever I cast this, it's like dead growth.
that's fair. We have talked about that. That's right. Which is can be totally mechanically solid as well. Well, so you see okay, so I will I'm gonna butcher this with drawing on my pen. We're gonna do some bad art here. So essentially there's like a rocky canyon of sorts. The beholder is where it is right now, and as you guys sort of jump into this canyon loosely, now currently, if the beholder were to float over this, they would see you. There's a little bit of like a lip to this where you could like try to hide under it, but it's not like, especially with a big elk and two big minotaurs and a dragonborn, it's pretty hard to just like kind of like make yourself small against the edge and have that be enough. So with this in mind, you want to kind of cast Entangle, or are you trying to like make a roof over you, or like?
Yeah, I think the thought would be to a roof over us that would extend potentially past the lip of the canyon a little bit, just to make it, with the thought being like, if there's anywhere greenery could have thrived on this island, it would be in this kind of protected little enclave under this rock feature. So it would make sense that something once could have lived here. Okay, sure, fuck it, why not? It's bad times. How big is the lip that like? How big is that overhang?
I would say probably just like 5 to 10 feet.
Okay.
But then the gap that you guys are in is maybe like there's like a 20-foot, or excuse me, like a 40-foot gorge that you're sort of covering with 20 feet kind of going inwards. So there's sort of like I'm terrible at describing things, but it's if somebody were to peek through it and not be deceived, then they could see you. It's just a matter of like, do they think to peek through it?
Is it also a question of if I were to get out of the way of the rest of the party, like, would they be able to pack tighter into under this lip and be less visible?
I mean, you could. I think more people in here. More people in here does increase the DC. I would say.
Okay,
The more people you have to hide with this, the harder it is.
Cool. Fuck it. By the time I'll arrive to this here lip, because this is sure a lovely life or death situation. You know, it is set up, it is ready for you, and you do not see Drada around until you might look up and just see Drada like laying on the ceiling of this lip. A la spider climbed.
Okay, so Drada is like upside down on the ceiling, just sort of like Spider-Man, fingers gripping the rock. And what are you doing spell-wise?
Spell-wise, just
you're trying to like cover the party with vines that also go up a little bit to create just the illusion that it's like a naturally occurring like. Okay. Go ahead and spend the spell slot. Just it's going to ask you to drop a marker. Just put it anywhere. Is anybody doing anything to help this? This is like it's a little ramshackle, but you can. There's still time, and you would also recognize that if this fails, it's on top of you.
I think the only thing I'd do is just be ready in case shit goes down. So once we're behind this wall of growth, like shield next, ready. But other than that, just trying to get to a position where I'm not going to have to move at all, like be as quiet as possible.
I'm gonna look over my shoulder at Flint and just like raise one eyebrow real high, being like, should we just fight this thing?
No, absolutely not.
The elk eyebrow.
So I can cast Major Image over us to give us more cover, or because if it fails and he sees through it, he then sees us. Or I can send an image running away about 120 feet.
That.
Okay. I'm gonna, seeing as Klax is the biggest person amongst us and probably the most visible running, I'm gonna take an image of Klax, because I've been like trying to read the spell, making sure I'm doing it correctly. And I'm gonna send him in the right direction from where the canyon lip is. And it's gonna be sound, smell, temperature, if that matters, of Klax running away, 120 feet away, and then he's gonna stand guard, ready to attack. Because I can't control movement after 120 feet.
Can you tell it to just keep moving, or like once it's outside of the range, it just has to stop?
As long as you are within the range of the illusion, you could use your action to cause the image to move to any other spot within range, which is 120 feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it can only operate within 100. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Can you just like keep changing its perspective to make it look like it's further away? Like just keep making it smaller. When it tries to talk Aesop,
that's your flash of genius. That's your flash of genius. That's how you do it.
There you go.
Okay, yes, I'll try to manipulate the image so it looks like it's getting further away, but in actuality it just gets smaller. I have a 20-foot cube to work with.
Okay.
I'll burn flash of genius on that, sure.
Yeah. Go and roll a deception check. Because that's
Let me put it in chat.
So there's currently vines over, and there's a major image Klax clanking out on the side.
There's a template that I had to put down. Sorry. So you said deception?
Yes. I'll give you advantage too, just because it's cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Plus Flash of Genius is 19.
Yeah, gives a +4.
All right.
What's the DC?
It's
my spell save.
Oh yeah, there's a spell save. Oh, sorry, I was just doing a random wisdom check. Okay, so it needs to actually make a saving throw.
Investigation
Alright.
check against my spell save DC,
Wisdom
which
was
is
probably
And that's
the
also yeah, and admittedly, that's actually that's to. So actually, the whole I don't think the deception thing really matters. It's like it has to discern that it's fake, and it's not like it's not inciting against that necessarily. It has to do it. Um, so you're all cramped in this tight space. You have vines above you. Aesop, you cast the spell. Is anybody like trying to keep an eye out for what happens? Or are you just trying to make yourselves as small as possible?
Clax is as small as possible. Just because he's in armor, he doesn't want to move. He doesn't even want to breathe right now. So
Are there any of us that, like, if I'm sitting here looking at our group, any of us that looks particularly struggling to, like, hide or fit in here? Like,
I mean, let's give everybody a stealth check. That's a good point. This is going to be a sound-based stealth, so don't worry about heavy armor disadvantage.
thank you. Oh shit.
So I would say you would discern that your three friends who rolled below a 10 are struggling. You could give them advantage in some form. I will say Murda, she said she was giving she was doing help action stuff. She's going to give help to Aesop to be stealthy.
thanks, Mom. Ooh.
He's helping you calm down. That's really cute.
Okay, that's better.
Better than a 6.
Oh, and her help action actually gives you a plus 1d6 as well, so that's right.
Oh, alright. I will do that.
Drada, you did say you were trying to help people make small, so if you wanted to help somebody as well, just by like shouting at them from above.
Yeah, I move from Spider-Manning it on the ceiling to now kind of just roll over. Back is still on the ceiling. Looking down at Elk Mouse, just being like, breathe in slowly. Out, so like breathe in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. In like succession, like slower and slower breaths. Just trying to control breathing, control the body.
Okay. Mouse, you can take advantage on your stealth as you try to like stop making elk sounds.
I was about to say, I love how there's an elk in this with us right now. It's amazing.
does Mouse like get any bonus to?
I get nothing because it's not a mental stat, so I'm using the elk's dex, which is 10.
Elk only has a 10 dex. Oh,
I went with fast, not dexterous.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I would assume an elk had dex.
You still have the opportunity to. You said you were going to potentially help somebody, Flint.
Well, you said this is more sound based than visual based.
If you're thinking invisibility, it would still give advantage. I was just sort of suggesting that I'm not going to punish the heavy armor people.
Fair. Then, yeah, I'll probably. Oh, who do I think is gonna benefit from stealth more?
Well, the only person who hasn't rolled with advantage yet is
Yeah,
Clax.
I'll give it to Clax. Yeah, he's got a bonus anyways.
Hey, okay.
There we go. So it's just a random deer that's down here. Like, that's no big deal.
Yeah. Now, overall, with these corrected scores, we have 19, 19, 9, 22, 10, and 26, which is, as a group, pretty good. So even as Aesop and Mouse are still trying to sort of like collect themselves and maintain a version of stealth, you guys are able to sort of bring them in close and keep them as quiet as possible so that they can benefit from the successful group stealth check. I'm gonna say Aesop, roll me a perception check. I'm letting you look on the outside just because you would theoretically be controlling your
Yeah,
mirror
I would
image.
probably be on the outside because I had to cast the thing out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You don't quite know what happened, but before you, as you just sort of are poking your head out and look it back in, you see that this creature goes towards your illusion, that your illusion vanishes.
Okay. As a player, I know what happened, but as a character, I have no idea what just happened. So I was just like, how did I... what? I'm like thinking to myself, so I'm trying not to say anything.
And you pull your head back in as you kind of go, oh shit, to yourself. I'm going to roll public roll. A perception check. You all, because you guys succeeded in the stealth as a group check such that it can't like automatically find you, but there is still like you've had time to set. I'm setting the stage because this could make next game dramatic. At this
Possibly
point,
TPK is dramatic.
yeah, because that anti-magic thing dispels it within 150 feet. So this thing is currently only 60 feet away from you, give or take. I'll figure that out later. It was distracted long enough to look away, and now as it tries to figure out where you went, I'm going to do a public roll. You guys were successful, so I'm going to treat the highest number as the total group stealth, which is 26. So it needs to meet or beat a 26.
Plus 12. Oh.
That's such a high perception. Okay.
It's a CR 13 creature. You all hear kind of like a garbling kind of like form of speech that none of you understand, as it's just sort of like sniffing you out, so to speak. You see it do a few rounds, or you don't see it, you kind of hear it sort of hovering above you and sort of doing a few rounds around this rocky outcropping. Were you able, if you had eyes on what was happening outside, so this is more just like if you were the camera, you would see it like right on top of you, and kind of, you watch Lord of the Rings and the ring wraith is like sniffing the hobbits under the tree. It's like that kind of situation where it's right on top of you, and through the entangle and through the group stealth that you all managed to keep utterly silent, it goes away. And you feel like you've just dodged a potentially dangerous situation. And that's probably just the best point to leave the game off. I'm sad.
What were the odds of that happening?
I guess
needed a 14 or above, right?
Well, so I have three tables. I have the weather table, the encounter table, and the quote unquote rare opportunity table.
Sorry, you meant in general. I meant of him detecting us. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
But continue with your explanation. I want to hear about this rare opportunity.
Well, the rare opportunity table was things like the stone tablet that you got and the incense holder that you just got. Those were rare opportunities. Weather is self-explanatory. The encounter table is a variety of things, and you rolled the highest number on that encounter table, which was a 10. And this is what happened. So
yeah,
aberrations.
We would not be the beholder, not in our current state, anyways.
I don't
Beholders.
even know if
In your full state, it would be
a fight.
It would be a fight. I mean, this is all above board. They have 180 hit points. You could nuke it down. It doesn't have any. It does have legendary actions. Just kidding. You could potentially nuke it down. The problem would be like not getting disintegrated or petrified in the process, and that would create a whole another problem. So, but you avoided that. So we will resume next game as you get closer to the recovery squad camp. I'm sad that we have to end on this note because we're going to take a month off, but I look forward to playing again in a month-ish.
We'll have to try to get together again.
Yeah.
Just so we can all hang out.
Yeah, I would like that.
Cool.